Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Fraser Planning Commission meeting for the date of September 7th, 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. If you'll join me in standing and starting our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. I will begin with roll call. Ms. Grignard?
Barr.
Present.
Gargi.
Present.
Farina.
Present.
Kyle.
Present.
Meyer.
Present.
Carey.
Here.
Warnock.
Here. Thank you. Well, we now need the approval of the agenda, so if there's any discussion or comments, if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Any comments?
I move to accept the agenda.
I'll second. No other comments? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Farina, seconded by Commissioner Kyle. And everybody, all nays, and anybody against it? Everybody for it? Okay, so we'll continue. So the agenda is approved. We'll go to agenda item 4, the opening remarks. Tonight's meeting will follow the agenda that was posted online and has been printed for you here. Before we begin, it's important to let everyone know that the Planning Commission is created by state law. The commission is comprised of 7 members, all of whom have volunteered to serve. Members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by City Council. The role of the Planning Commission is to plan and promote the efficient coordinated development of the city for the health, safety, and welfare, general welfare of its residents. We are not here to negotiate with applicants or allow everything an applicant is requesting. However, the Planning Commission does have the power to approve certain requests and recommend others, depending on the nature of the request and whether all of the standards in the zoning ordinance have been met. Planning Commission may also impose conditions on a proposed project in order to ensure that those standards are met. Other individuals with us here today are representatives from our legal firm of O'Reilly Rancilio PC and representatives from McKenna & Associates, the city's planners. Procedure followed by the Planning Commission for public hearings first involves the city planner providing an overview of each case. After the overview is completed, the petitioner will be asked to provide additional information and answer any questions commission members may have. After the commission's questions, the public will be invited to speak. Each person will have one opportunity to speak, must only speak directly to that specific case, and must only address the commission, not the petitioner or anyone else in attendance. After the public has had the opportunity to speak, commission members may again ask questions of the petitioner, and then the commission will consider a motion. Now that we've gone over all these guidelines, I'll move forward with agenda item number 5, which would be the approval of the minutes of the meeting of August 3rd, 2022. Any discussion or comments on those minutes? Kathy?
Well, I had asked Commissioner Farina to address it, but that's okay. I will go forward. On page 2, under the public hearing for the shooters outdoor patio, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it's like the 6th paragraph. There's a statement Farina noted on drive-through, but there are none on the site. I'm not sure what that statement is trying to say. I just don't know if we can make that clearer from the preparer's notes, maybe, or if someone can help me with that. The tape, or maybe Alicia can help us.
Yes, I believe that the question was whether or not there would be a drive-through on the site, and the
On the
answer was
site.
no.
So Mr. Farina was asking, will there be a drive-through, and then,
That was my recollection.
okay, yes, if you could kind of correct that, Cindy. That was, and then the next sentence, it's a typo. Commissioner Zarnicki asked about the paving on the site, and it can be a part. Got A and part should be separated. That's the only 2 items I noticed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, any other comments?
I have, on
Renee?
that same page, it was noted that they were suggesting 5 PM to 2 AM as the time frame, and we also discussed the possibility that the board might put a time frame in for 4 o'clock to approximately 11 o'clock for the patio to be opened, that maybe we should discuss that. Sure. We asked the applicant what time they thought they wanted the patio to be opened, and it was mentioned that they were saying between 5 o'clock and 2 o'clock in 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was discussed that perhaps that wasn't the right time frame, that maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 11 o'clock at night, or sometime like that, and that maybe that would be a stipulation of having the patio open would be a certain time frame.
And since that, we will be talking about that, so that we could discuss it during
Sure.
during that portion. Okay, anything else? Everything else looks good? Look for a motion then to approve the
Mr.
minutes with the, okay.
I move to approve the minutes of August 3, 2022 as revised.
Okay. So recommendation by Commissioner Zarnecki and seconded by Commissioner Barr. Okay. Let's move on then to new business. Oh, do we need to have roll call, or not a roll call, we can just, okay. So we'll go on that. All in favor of?
Aye.
Any not? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Those are approved, and let's move on to new business. There's no public hearings, so we'll pass that. Site plans, first one we're going to address is SP 21-0934-400 Klein, which is for a site plan amendment. Is the petitioner here? Can you come forward and give us your name and address?
My name is Dave Cadman. I'm representing the owner, Joe Marth, the owner of Foundation Solutions 360 at 34400 Klein Road.
Okay. Do we need their personal address always? Okay. I always wondered that, because you get those that would, and then other ones that just use the address of the site. Okay.
That's Clark.
Yeah. Clark? Let's make it official.
I don't think that the personal address is required.
Okay. I just know for all those years, it's always been one of those things, and,
If you like it, you can have it.
no, it's fine. I just wanted to get an official thing, because so many times people just say the address of the site, and that's it, and I just want to make sure we're always doing it right. So that's good. Okay, Mr. Urbiel, you want to give us a background on this?
Sure, thanks, Mr. Chair. This application is to add a 20-foot driveway to the south end of 34400 Klein. This property is right across from Fraser High School on the east side of Klein Road. The area of the site is up there on the screen to the south of the building. My understanding is that the applicant wants to be able to access with a vehicle a overhead door that exists on the south end of the site, and use that for truck maneuvering and a new dumpster pad. You can see in our review that in general, I think this, there's enough information in the application for you to act on this request. I think in general, the request is appropriate. The use, I request is appropriate. The use I skipped over the use. It currently houses Foundation Solutions 360, which is a contractor. Contractors' offices and storage of equipment is permitted in the zoning district, which is industrial restricted. I guess the only trouble that the administration still has with this plan is that there's a note on the side plan that there's an enclosure for storage of gravel, and that is specifically noted as a prohibited use in IR. IR is the lesser intensive industrial district. So I guess I think other than that note, the administration supports this request if we get a revised site plan that removes that enclosure or variance is granted.
Okay, petitioner, have anything to add to that?
Yes, basically, we use gravel for our daily operations. After looking at everything that was written, basically that little pile of gravel that we have outside on the north side of our parking lot, we've enclosed it with concrete blocks all the way around. I guess in order to move forward with this, I'm requesting a variance with conditions, if need be, to allow us to have a limited amount of gravel on site. We can't store it inside.
You know this
we can
board doesn't
cover it.
grant variances. We're not the
What's that?
zoning board of appeals is where variances would be granted.
Okay. Well, everything on here is approved with the conditions, and one of the major conditions was the gravel we have. We can't continue our daily operations without our gravel. Again, we use it on a daily basis. We don't store a lot of it. We have small amounts delivered, and we use those small amounts, and then we have another small amount delivered, maybe up to 10 yards at a time. Maybe we could screen it, cover it, but we need our gravel on site. So I'm looking to see if we can get past that.
Okay. Anything, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, bring it back to the board then. First off, I just want to, I believe this, when was this? Did this come forward? I don't think I was on the board at the time it came forward, was I?
When what came
When
forward?
when this site.
When it was originally
plan
developed?
review. Was it early in 2021?
This is the first time the planning commission is seeing it. We went through a round of revisions with the applicant.
Oh, okay, so we never did see this.
This is the first time the.
Okay,
commission is seeing it.
because I visited the site and I just want to bring up a few things that parking in the front yard would need a variance for one thing. Two, just looking at it, so this, if you look, and it has the gravel area there, they're the only ones that park that close to the road. If you follow, we always had a problem with that, with Klein, with people in approving site plans. I don't know if any of you remember some of the other ones down the road where they couldn't park in that front yard setback area. So it became a big issue. So I'm just wondering how this got to this point with the site having that, you can see that gravel area there, but the other ones go all the way up, and these were added. They're not there now. So these are new proposed parking spots, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we're into the issue of changing ordinance requirements, which would also go for the zoning board of appeals. So I was just wondering how it got this far to this point. And I just thought it might have been since before I started because it had a case number. It was 21-09.
Correct. That's when the application was first submitted. The applicant originally applied for a building permit with a drawing of just the north side. And then we received this drawing as part of a resubmission after initial review.
Okay, really, does anybody understand or know anything about this prior to this?
No.
Yeah, I don't know how it can come forward to us with all these items.
The engineering thing says that the proposed site plan appears to be increasing the volume and rate of stormwater runoff. There it is it is likely that additional on-site detention will be required, as well as restricting the outflow to predetermined conditions, redevelopment conditions. That's number 4 by the city engineer. Am I reading that correctly?
You are. Yes, there are still items that would need to be addressed as far as the engineering drawings, but as far as the site plan approval.
Okay, so far, like Randy said, he needs 2 variances, which goes to the ZBA, not here. And then if he gets approved there, then we start addressing the other things.
Yeah, because if we go through all this and approve this without those things and then they don't get approved, we've just wasted a lot of time. I think we should be following the proper procedure with that. I think this is the easement on Malin, for Malin. That doesn't come into play with this parking area or this driveway on the south side?
You'll note in the engineer's review, he brought up the fact that if the city ever extended the right-of-way to Malin, the distance between this proposed driveway and the intersection that would be caused, or that would be formed there, would be less than ideal. The reason that we collectively did not think that was an issue is because it seems very unlikely in the foreseeable future that that right-of-way extension is going to happen. And there are also several other industrial properties in the vicinity that have that same condition. You wanted to note it, but that's why that particular item was not flagged by us as a more of a concern.
Okay. Well, we're up here at the board. Any other members have anything to add or agree or disagree or any comments?
Mr. Chair, I did visit the site also. I didn't see that the storage of the, what are they? The gravel. I didn't think it was so unsightly. But my question then to the administration is, when you say it's prohibited, it's not really equipment, but it is gravel. So it's a portion of their business that they're using for, and they're keeping it on site. Would that be considered equipment, more or less? That we could allow the gravel?
I guess what I was hung up on is that there's a line that says outdoor storage is allowed and the storage of contractor equipment is allowed. But then there's also, under the list of prohibited uses,
It really says gravel.
Gravel and loose mineral, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But we as a board can approve it, outdoor storage, with a site plan approval.
But not necessarily, not the gravel, because it's prohibited.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
so it's like catch-22, I guess.
Well, the ordinance specifically says that the storage of outdoor gravel is prohibited. So we can either cease having it on the property or the granting of a variance
Right.
for our hardship that we have because we need it.
That's where you would have to go to the zoning board of appeals. That's why I think we should really hold this till we see if they do get any variances that are required. I have trouble proving a site plan where there's all this parking added in the front yard. Anybody else?
Would it be grandfathered in because it was already approved like that? From the original site plan that we don't?
That's what I don't think, I don't know that this was approved before. That's the thing, we're not aware of the, is this paved? And I visited the site too, and it
not
wasn't,
paved.
no.
No, it's not paved.
So that's what
It's
even
parked.
takes away from it. We've never had gravel allowed for parking lots.
Okay.
So all of a sudden you go there and this is different than everybody else down the street.
Yeah, that's all temporary, just so we can keep running. So
That's what I was
what we plan on doing on the south side of the building there, right now, we only have one entrance into the building, and that is on the north side.
Right.
All the activity, 7 trucks, all of our employees and office staff have to use that one little section. So yeah, it's very cramped, it's crammed. What we intend to do is, we already have an existing overhead door on the south side of the building where the red is, and we can eliminate, once we get all that new paving in there, the new entrance, and we are able to utilize our building. Our building was great when we had 3 trucks, but we've grown. So now we have a lot going on, and everybody's condensed into that north side area. So yeah, when we have all of our people show up, we're parking up towards the street, and we were driving on the lawn, so we put some gravel down so we wouldn't sink into it. This is going to rectify, this is going to correct that. We will be able to utilize the other side of the property that right now we can't just drive trucks onto the grass out of the south side of the building. So,
Only problem is we like to see growth. We want to see the growth in that, but it comes with a system here. It comes for site plan approval to allow that before doing it, not after it's done. So you basically did that without any site plan approval.
yes,
So
correct.
I just think we need to address this differently or approach it differently than we're doing here.
Do you understand what we're talking about? You need 2 variances.
Yes.
Okay? We cannot grant those variances. We have a limited power. We can approve a site plan, but we can't grant variances. There is another board
Right.
that grants those variances. And we think if we would give you a site plan, they won't give you the variances, we're dead in the water. You know, you've got an unbuildable, unusable piece of property. So what we're recommending is you go to the ZBA, we put this on hold, you go to the ZBA and try for your variances.
Okay,
Then, if the variances are granted, then come back to here or your site plan. And you might want to talk to an architect on a way to shield that storage in a more,
yes, I already have. We use PCE Engineering out in Algonac, Michigan, and we have a complete set of digital plans that can be, altered to meet any conditions. And I've never been to a zoning board of appeals meeting. I thought that's what this was. I thought we could get this taken care of today.
We don't have the authority.
We've been trying to pave our parking lot for over a year.
We want to see,
Yeah, so
mean,
temporarily, we threw some gravel down just so we could continue our daily operations.
we just have to follow
Yeah.
there's a system developed for that, and we just need to follow.
If you call Mr. Herbal, he can help you shepherd through how to get on the ZBA agenda. And I can guarantee that agenda is open.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, with the recommendations here from McKenna, we do have the required spaces for both office and shop in
With that
the
number.
plan,
Yeah.
within the number, yeah, within the plan.
Because you basically, that'll update your site to meet the requirements of the ordinance. The problem is, there's other ordinances that come into play. So if we can get approval for the variances, then we can approve these things to help you meet the requirements.
Yeah, I didn't think the parking was gonna be an issue because it's already, been addressed in our new site plan, our revised site plan. We just have a problem with the gravel. If we can figure out that gravel thing,
If you look down
We'll put a Quonset
that,
hut up, we'll block it in, we'll plant arborvitae's in front of it, we'll tuck it in the back corner of the new paving area.
some people
Work with
wish it
me
was
here.
that easy. To take a site and do what you want to it to make it work for you, but we've got ways to go through that, and people have been denied for that front yard setback before. So there's a precedent set. If you look down that whole street, down Klein there, you'll see that no cars are as close to the road as you are.
Right.
and you just did that. So I know with growth
cars will be
comes
moved.
things. You need parking spaces, but we got to work with buildings as they are, and that's where growth is. There's, the growing pains are there, and we'll try to help you through it all.
Okay.
That's what Mr. Irby will do to get this done the right way, and then take it the right steps, and then we can address those and get you going. I hate seeing people sit and not get things done. I think we have a process where I've been to other cities, and more so now, since I'm retired from here, and it's tough. Some of the other cities are much worse with time to get things done in the process it takes, how long it takes to get that process done. And I think we have probably the fastest zoning board of appeals, getting in front of them and getting a decision the same night, which doesn't happen in a lot of cities.
How often do they meet?
Every month, if there's anything to go, but there's deadlines too when you do have to get the stuff ready. So that's where you need to make contact, get those things done. And then we'll help you get through the rest of it.
So I'm just wondering, how come I'm here instead of there? You guys sent me the information to come here tonight when.
You have to go both,
Back over there and then back over here again.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
you have to go both places. Because you can't make the revisions that you want to the site plan without site plan approval, but the site plan review process says you can't have any gravel storage, so you gotta get a variance from the zoning board of appeals. I mean, conceivably, you could have gone there first, but in any event, this board isn't gonna act on a site plan approval unless variances have been granted to bring it into compliance.
Okay,
And-
so we are in compliance on the parking per the site plan. You just need a variance on the gravel, outdoor storage.
Add all those were probably calculated with Mr. Urbiel, so you probably do meet for certain things, that the numbers,
Yes.
the required
We do
parking
meet that on our
spaces.
site plan.
The problem is where to put them, and we can't give you approval just to put them anywhere like that. So we got to work with different setbacks and everything, and the only way to change those setbacks is go for variances. So I think process-wise, I think we just jumped the gun maybe on this one a little, but if we can act on anything further, I mean, and answer questions and help through that, but it's all going to be contingent on that, and that's where I hate to waste time if something, say they allow something, but they might allow less, and then we're back to making changes again. So
I think it makes sense to postpone action on this case tonight, figure out how much time they have to be before the zoning board. There's a requirement that publication be made in the newspaper and notices be sent out 15 days in advance of that hearing date. Paul has indicated that the next meeting is October the 5th for the ZBA.
they would have to act really quick.
They'd really have to get in their application
Yeah.
quickly in order to be able to get it
Because to get notice in the paper 15 days, you need to give them a week usually or so.
right.
So right there, we're back to 22 days before the meeting, and it could be all depending on, because if it goes in the Chronicle, it's on Wednesday, so does it go in the Macomb Daily, or it goes in the Macomb Daily? So I think you can get in quicker in there than the Chronicle, so that helps. But I recommend getting on it right away, and just to get into the October one.
So I understand I have to get a granting of a variance from the.
There'll be a number of
Zoning
variances.
Board of Appeals.
Yeah.
So is stuff going to keep popping up because you guys.
Oh, that's why
worked
we want
With
to,
McKenna, and McKenna did not flag that parking situation at all. There was nothing in here on the recommendations other than the storage of the gravel, so is there something else that's going to pop up? And Like, we have a really detailed set of plans that we submitted.
Yeah, I don't know if there's, I mean, just a thorough review of it, going through it again and hopefully catch anything that might be, but I think those are your main things.
Okay.
Those are the things you're going to need variances for. Can anybody come up with anything else? Paul, do you have anything else?
No. And honestly, I apologize. We didn't have a site plan of record for this site. I thought that those sites were existing
Yeah.
when we were doing the review.
So we'll get through this. We'll help you through it. Let's, we're not denying you things right now. We're just going through the process so we can get our questions answered on certain things. And there will be things we add to it maybe, like different things like handicap spots and that, stuff like that, or requirements for different things. We've done, Planning Commission does some different things than a lot of people, like
Okay.
where they wouldn't come into play there, but little things like bike racks and stuff like that. But we won't require that of yours, I don't think, but on commercial things, we'll usually do something, different things, but we do come up with things. Maybe it's landscaping, maybe it's something we recommend changing from what you applied for.
Okay.
And so that's the power of this board. But we can't act on anything without getting past that initial point. So I
And that is,
didn't want to waste your evening
is
or
the
anything,
ZBA.
but I think we at least got a background, all of us up here, so the next time you come, we'll be able to help you even more.
okay.
We want to see you successful, we want to see you grow, but we've got to follow the guidelines that are set.
All right.
Okay, do
We
we
will
want
get
to
on
make
that.
a motion then to postpone?
I can make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Commissioner Zarnecki makes motion and seconded by Commissioner Meyer.
Can I make my motion, though?
Yeah, just
Okay,
do it.
thank
Yeah, that's what she
Thank
jumped
you.
the gun.
All right. I move to postpone site plan 21-09 for 34,400 Klein site plan amendment to allow the applicant to go in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals to seek two variances, one parking in the front yard, the other variance for gravel, storage of gravel, and any other necessary variances that might apply that the Zoning Board of Appeals might see.
Any other discussion on the board before that, before we take it? Yes.
It'd be beneficial to pick a specific date for it to come back to the Plan Commission so that you don't have to re-notify and republish for,
So the earliest,
Notify for planning commission, though.
we got to wait till it's,
there's not a public hearing requirement, but if anybody that was
Oh, okay.
interested in participating, I think it'd be helpful. It looks to me that because the zoning board typically meets after the planning commission does, that you'd probably have to postpone it to the
November meeting will be the earliest.
meeting of the planning commission, because that would give assuming that they get the application to the
Yeah,
office soon, they will probably be able to make the October meeting of the ZBA, in which case they'll hopefully have a decision by the,
so those will be contingent on how fast the applicant
right.
acts on these things. And I just want to push in something about something else, like, say they didn't allow that parking and they see, well, you're adding that pavement on the other side. If there's maybe spots you could put there to make up for some of them, just be open to
Yeah, there
looking
is.
at
There
different
is.
things. So maybe they'll look at that when you show them this plan, and hopefully Paul will be able to help you through all that. But if there's something that they might deny, or, you might have some other things to add to it of why the practical difficulty or the hardship that would allow them to okay that, because they just can't, there's got to be a reason that they approve it. So go through that stuff, and we'll help you through the other process. So it's not the end of the world, it's just going to take you longer if you've been waiting on this already a long
In
time.
a while,
Yeah,
and you're fast.
so,
You're fast.
yeah, we're faster than a lot of communities, I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so let's take a vote on that. We have a motion to postpone to, do we want to say then November meeting if, we can say that and it can always change if something happens at the zoning, if they postpone their meeting.
I can add that. I mean, I can say, postpone the item to the November 2nd Planning Commission meeting, the November 2022, Planning Commission meeting,
Okay.
to allow the applicant to go for the variances, as I stated before.
Commissioner Meyer, do you still support that?
Yes.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
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 You might want a roll call on that one.
Do we want a roll call? Okay, go ahead.
Barb,
Agree.
Starkey,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Warner.
Yes. Okay. So, good meeting you. Hopefully, we'll see you again with some better news for you from us. Okay.
Retail center.
All right. Next item. SPR 22-03, 33180, Groesbeck Retail Center. Petitioner present. Welcome. If you can give us your name and address.
Yep. Kevin Hanna. The address is 33180 Groesbeck Highway.
Okay, and your position,
I'm the owner of
Owner.
Gabbara Holding LLC.
okay.
Dave Jajoka, 381 Deer Path Trail in Waterford, Michigan. I'm with the design company Scope Data LLC.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Urbil, can you give us background on this one?
So this application is to renovate the existing retail center at 33180 Groesbeck. That retail center was recently purchased by the applicant. It is non-conforming or challenged in a couple ways from a circulation point of view. The application is to renovate the site, the parking lot, and the buildings to basically completely redo the front facade of the retail center as shown up there on the screen. Adding a little bit of height and configuring a couple windows, but mostly this is a facade facelift. The applicant provided the current tenants or what the current retail spaces are built as, and the parking allocations. By that math, the parking works. I guess, again, we didn't have record information about the warehouse storage space. I think it was a wholesaling business or something with that. We just noted that the ratio for parking for a wholesaling business is larger than for some other retail tenants. But as the site is currently built, it has enough parking. The applicant is proposing to improve the existing parking area with landscaping, which I think the parking area sort of exists in a legally non-conforming way. The applicant is bringing it more into compliance, which I think is a good thing. We'd like to see the details of what the landscaping is to verify that it meets zoning requirements, but it looks promising. There's a couple spaces on the site that are dependent on the adjacent properties, either for the space themselves or for maneuvering space to those to the parking area on the south side. So we noted in there that another consideration is that we should probably have access agreements to those parking spaces. There's a proposal on the site plan also to build a 6-foot-high masonry wall along the north edge of the property. That, my understanding of that issue is that the applicant is trying to delineate his site and prevent what currently happens, which is that vehicles from the site to the north use his parking lot. The 6-foot-high masonry wall is located in front of the building line, so that is not allowed per the zoning ordinance. I guess I am personally sympathetic to the the desire for control of the site, and also I think aesthetically defining the edge of the parking lot is a good goal. So we had recommended in our review that solution be achieved in some other way, because the 6-foot-high masonry wall is not allowed per the ordinance requirements. And I think that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, let's, before we do that, well, does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Urbiel? We can do that.
Well, you have the image of the site plan?
Hold on one second. We're going to just, and then we'll come back to you and get you to add anything from this. So nobody else has questions? Are you going to wait? All right, let's go to the applicant. Anything further to add? Oh, I can't tell. Oh, go ahead. Hold on.
Paul? Yes. You said like a 2-foot-high wall. Could that be like a 2-foot-high, 2.5-foot-high planter, and then put abrevieties on the top of it?
Yeah, I think that would be some sort of,
That would make it a softer,
yeah.
more aesthetically pleasing than a wall between you and your other people? That's what I was thinking when I looked there, a wall just,
I think the ordinance provision is there for a case like this, because if you put a 6-foot-high masonry wall there, then you would obscure the view of vehicles coming in and out of that lot to the north. The property to the north would probably have a legitimate complaint that the wall blocks their property, but I think the idea of screening in or enclosing the property is a good one. We're just asking that it be done in a different way.
That would, just for note, that would be required, the 6-foot, if it was, and the adjacent property was residential.
Correct.
They would have to separate it.
Correct.
for that, but not because it's the same
It's the same
zoning
zoning,
district.
yep. And you know, it would be permitted if it was to the east on this drawing, behind the front building line. That could be a 6-foot masonry wall. Not required, but okay. It's just because it's in front of the building line that it's not permitted.
Anything else?
I have something for them.
Yeah, let's get, okay, so why don't you guys put anything to add to that? We're willing to listen.
Actually, he have some pictures.
Yeah, talk into the microphone.
It shows some heavy truck. It's going to his property and it's causing damage to the pavement. The pavement is for regular car, not for the heavy trucks. So, and if you remove the pavement here, the damage will still gonna happen.
Take the microphone with you. Go ahead, so you can take it with you. You can walk up there. Go ahead and point, but take the microphone with you. It moves. That's good.
Okay. This wall here is gonna prevent the heavy truck from the other side coming to his property and causing damage to the pavement here, because he's gonna do pavement again. And if he's gonna leave it like this, you know, it's gonna happen and happen. So just to prevent the trucks from coming this way and use his property.
Well, if it,
And 2 feet is easy to jump people from them. If you show you the picture and can see the picture, you know, whole idea what I'm talking about. You know, now I sue the DT Energy because I did the paving 20% out of the property. We stop it now. Because the DT Energy, almost 20 truck another day, them parking there, they make it damage from the paving I did, the new paving there. We stop and doing now. So I have all the pictures here.
Okay, well,
That's the reason
I
we-
did notice that that you have the forms up for all that area there, and that's one of those items, again, that you need to come to us first and approve before you start going into doing that, 'cause that's a lot of work you put in, and if we say we want changes to that, then that's kind of a waste of money getting to that point. So we want to help you out again. And I want to welcome you, because I know that site. I dealt with Tony Giorgeni for many years, and it's good to see new owners that maybe are willing to put some money into it, because that really dresses that front up. Now, is there anything going on at the back building? Are you changing the facade on the back building there?
Yes, do, I'm gonna do.
Same thing, it'll tie in with
Yes.
these?
Yeah,
Okay, I just want to I want you to help us with anything telling us what you're going to do.
that's why if you can, put them in the screen, I show you what I'm doing so far.
I don't know that we have the technology to do that. Is there something,
I did like,
I have an HDMI cord, so
sorry,
I have an HDMI cord.
I don't know if you
so maybe,
can come and buy it.
If you, this is the projector, so if you don't have if you have an HDMI port on there, yeah.
that's,
No, this is what's going from here to the projector.
is this something, just a picture you want to show us, where you can walk around?
What I did,
You can walk around and show us then.
okay,
Well,
yeah. Can show you.
we're very technology savvy, some of us here, but not all of us.
That area, on both sides, has got the world's worst parking lots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terrible.
My parking lot, we saw the DT energy now.
Okay.
The damage we have it. See, they roll, back from parking lot to this.
They could jump that curb.
Yeah, the curb all day long. Look, this one, parking all day long. These the trailers. So it's not making sense to do the paving, the new paving here. So
Are they going to the Mexican restaurant? Is that what?
yes, they go from my side to the Mexican. See, the owner, he coming from my parking lot. He rolls down
Skips
to-
over it.
Yes.
Can you,
And now
can
we
you
have-
take the microphone with you too, so we can pick it up on the recording?
And then I go.
Why don't you give us a background first on one picture at a time, if that's what you have
Okay.
multiple, and then show us all.
Okay,
instead
I
of
will.
Addressing one member.
Okay, can show every three, that's fine. Like, this is the first picture. Look at the parking lot. Okay,
Whose truck is parking there?
this one for the customer, for the Mexican restaurant.
But whose truck?
Parking, I don't know, the customer for, yeah.
Customers?
Yes, for Mexican. See, this is done for DT Energy, they come in for the, also the customer. See, the same thing. Okay, let me show you more pictures. And also, look, he has the truck, food truck here. He got three space. So, does it make sense? He has food trucks parking.
Okay, we need to address the whole
Look,
board. We
yeah,
can't, this
look
isn't
at
gonna
it.
work this way.
How it's gonna be?
If you show us the pictures and then tell us about them, we can see these,
Okay,
and tell us all. Just show us the pictures real quick, E,
okay, let me show you that.
and then,
Okay, this one, he has the food trucks parking in the front. He has two parking, and then he want to park in my parking lot,
there, we get a reflection.
okay?
Okay, yep.
See it?
That's in your parking lot, that food truck?
No. No.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
Mexican.
Oh, okay.
See?
But it,
So it's not making sense.
and this is your parking lot, the one
It's my
that's all
parking lot on
crumbling?
this side, yeah.
The one that's all crumbling
Yes,
and
yeah,
everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't do it this side yet. I did
Yeah,
another
but you
side.
will be doing, that's part of the whole
Yeah, yeah.
process.
I'm sure what I did, the new spots. Hold on one second. It's not a picture, I think.
Yeah, I seen the new area
This is the
at
new
the south,
area.
yeah, I seen all that.
20% I did,
Yep, yep,
cost me a lot of money for this.
yep.
That's why I stopped doing it.
It's
after
a
I-
big thing, and
Okay.
it
You want
needed
to see
it
the
for
new one?
ages.
This is the new, it's
So
20%.
Show them the pictures real quick. and
Okay,
don't-
this one, the new percent.
We're just gonna, don't spend time repeating everything,
Okay.
hopefully.
So let me show you what I did to the new building. So this is the new windows.
Yep, I like the plan,
It looks great. The building's looking really good.
yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with this building. It-
This year
I'm
before.
glad
right?
to see you doing
Yeah,
something with it.
so It's not done yet, you know,
Yeah.
so this is the new concrete, the sideway.
Okay, so actually, what you can do is go to there and just point to what is being changed from what's existing. Just give us a general idea. We all know
Okay.
where you're going with it.
Okay.
We just want to, for the public and everything, so they know what we're talking about here.
Here is gonna be all, from this side to all around, is gonna be new facade. From here, around this one. Around here, where is the Dairy Queen before? Two right here. We're gonna be stopped. I don't have time now because it's gonna be winter coming. I'm gonna be continuing to do the back, torching the 14 mile. I'm doing this way.
The party store is gone, right?
Done, now it's beautiful. I showed you some picture from inside. I did all remodel, complete, from drop ceiling and everything.
What's-
I show her yesterday.
What's that going to be?
I have some mortgage company coming.
Okay, but it's another company going in.
Yes, yeah.
So you have that one,
It's done, complete.
will be leased out?
Yeah,
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it like, maybe next summer. This all complete facade, same thing here on this side. From this to right here. And
Are
next
you
summer,
adding parking spots, or is this all existing?
I'm sorry, say again?
The parking spots that you're showing us,
Uh-huh.
are these existing, and you're just redoing the whole parking lot? I know you're changing because of those islands.
This one here?
Yeah, do we know the number of, are we okay with the number of parkings?
We have a 89 parking.
Yeah, I think you have plenty.
Yeah,
I
89.
just want to make sure and address
Plus, we
it.
share them parking with the bar, me and him.
You have an agreement?
Yeah, we have agreement
I
between
think
me
we
and
need
Bob.
to file that then. If we do have an agreement, we're going to.
Yeah, he used my parking.
Is it a written agreement?
It's not, but he used my parking.
It has to be a written
We're
agreement.
gonna do it, it's no big deal.
Well, it's,
Gone through the lawyer.
yeah, it's got to be, only because ownerships change, agreements get nullified.
He's got enough parking without,
I have enough 89 parking. Without this, I don't count those here.
so he really doesn't even need the agreement.
Yeah, with those, I have like 80, 97.
Yeah, if you got enough.
97.
But they're going to be using, if there's an agreement both ways, they're going to be using his spots too. And that could change.
He used mine, I don't use his. Because all of them is office. I don't have any
But
bar or something.
and while we're talking parking, I might as well bring it up.
Yeah.
I've got a problem with those parking spots against the Dairy Queen property. The only way to get into them is go across the Dairy Queen property, and we don't know what's going to happen with that.
Well, he contacted me, but there's no deal happened, so
There's nothing going on there that
nothing.
you're
I
aware
tried to
of,
buy
right?
him, but nothing happened yet. So,
There's a history on that.
anyway.
You probably know, and
Yeah, we'll see.
and I don't,
If something happen, I tear it down and make it nice here. We'll see what's gonna be happen, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
it would have been nice if the city would have followed my wanting to keep it. We own the property, and I wanted to keep it and put a nice sign there for the city, or do something to beautify it. It was ready to be tore down, and members of council said they want to just sell it. So
I try to work with
that's
this
where
guy.
we're
We'll
at
see.
today, so it's been a long process, so there's history here that you don't know about, and I just want to see this thing beautified. This is a terrible corner for sight.
Either you don't have enough parking for anything, this guy. Only for parking.
Well, so the biggest problem here, though, is, let's get back to what I was
Yes.
saying.
Okay.
You can't go to those parking spots without going across his property. That's not going to work with us.
Yeah.
Because he could, the next day, legally, he could put something and block those spots off. And then those spots don't mean a thing to us anymore. And you put handicap in there. So now, where do we go from there? Maybe it'd be better putting spots that you could pull in from your property. You might lose a spot or two, but going that.
About here?
Yeah, you
use
got to
only
think that's
two.
not your property.
I used to.
Yeah, but you can't go across their property legally.
Yeah.
The same thing occurs at the north end of that building as well, because you've got the bar parking lot. Unless he's got a written agreement, you have the same situation for the handicap parking spaces where there's the 4.
Right, you're into their area there.
You're into their area as well.
Yeah.
You can,
So that's why this agreement's going to be important. You just, again, I know you want to do things and increase things and make things better, but there's legalities that we require other businesses, and we've just done it recently, with shared parking agreements. So there is things that you just have to do legally and get things on file here with us for us to, if we approve that, we're accessory to just saying that's okay, and it don't work that way. So we can't allow you to trespass on other people's property to accommodate your stuff. So, am I right, Clark?
Yes.
So I want to make this so it works best for you, but there's certain things that we got to address. I just can't, I won't approve something that doesn't work.
that's fine. This one, we can switch the parking, this another way.
Yeah, you'd have to come
Another
from
way.
your spot, from your property to get into those spots.
I can't do it that way.
That's the only way you're going to be able to. I know it's going to be tougher. You're not going to get all 4. Maybe you can get a handicap spot and maybe another one. I don't know.
We
We'd
can
have
do
to see.
handicap here, we'll move it.
Yeah,
Right here.
there's got to be a way,
Yeah.
because you got to get your spots right, and numbers-wise, but you just can't go putting them any haphazard way that, and I'm not saying it was your fault. That's been that way probably for a long time. We've got to address those issues now while we have a chance to. As a new site plan comes, now we can correct things that were problems before and they were done wrong. Or they did them without anybody knowing about it, and the test of time, they were wrong. So now we have a chance to address those, and we want to see a nice site plan here that works for you and to be proud of. So we're here to help you, like I said, but some things have to change. So whether we get some commitment, or if we want to see a new site plan again, I don't want to stop you. Maybe we can address certain things and other things put off, but I know you've already formed that whole island area off. And we didn't get to see it, so it's like, I got to see how, maybe there's a better way to have made the parking, maybe not. It looks good. I like where you're going with it. Any other members have any input on that, or?
No, I don't think we can solve his problems here, 1. 2, there's also an issue about even in the engineering statements, and I don't understand why we didn't note this. It says, several cross-access agreements will need to be provided if they are not already in place. It says there are several cross-access agreements will need to be provided, item number 5 under general. Will need to be provided if they're not already in place. No? So,
So we do need those agreements.
That's fine. How about the facade?
I like it. But
So can you
if there's any other things, do we have colors or anything, a color scheme here? Because we don't have the color renderings or anything. What colors are you using?
Can you go back to the facade, please?
Yeah.
Okay, this one is gonna be stone. I have the color with me. It's like it's gonna
Are they earth tone colors? Are they,
be natural stone, beige.
yeah, no purple here?
No, no.
Okay. That's why we need to see. We need to know. We had a purple gas station one time that didn't last. We had to get rid of it. I don't want to see you do this
It's gonna
twice.
be lighter brown here, okay, and darkest brick here, okay. That's it. This one is gonna be
Is that ephes up top?
ephes, yes. It's
Yeah.
gonna be.
And what color is the ephes going to be?
It's gonna be light brown.
Light beige or brown tan? Yeah, so it'll coordinate
Yes.
with the brick and that.
With the brick, yeah.
Okay. And that's your plan to continue around when you do the whole building, right? So everything will be uniform? Okay. Any other questions anybody have on the board?
No question. I mean, Mr. Hanner he gave me a thorough tour, and I agree. It's such an improvement. It's going to look beautiful, but I want him to, although he has it laid out, and I don't know if we can accept it, is the landscaping plan in the center, where
Yeah.
you have the electric hookups for electric cars. I want you to, bring that out to everybody's attention. I mean, he's really thinking forward. But the problem is the access then, is getting into the site. So can we locate differently?
Let's go back to that.
Not
Oh.
work with we have to work around the Dairy Queen, correct?
Yeah.
Did you say that you talked to them about buying it, they wouldn't sell it to you? Did you say that a minute ago? The Dairy Queen? And
And the site probably would have to be demolished as opposed to improved.
yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Should have been taken care of years ago.
It should have, it looked worse before even, if you can imagine that. Well, yeah, we just need to see, but we're gonna look at this probably to add, because we're gonna need those agreements and stuff, so it's not, we can address those, but I want you to start figuring out a plan that works.
Only one
Get-
issue now, I'm sorry to cut you out, only one issue is the wall with this guy. I can show it everywhere this restaurant he goes, he has issues.
I understand what, with those, with where you were going with the pictures and stuff like that, and I think,
I go to the Sterling guys, the same issue we have, the restaurant there with the neighbors. I go to the Wayne City, same issue we have.
so, but without being able to put that type of wall in, we can't approve that wall.
Give me any kind of wall.
But another wall we
I'm
can, at least that stops that traffic from coming through.
Yeah.
You could put a 1.5, 2-foot, 2.5-foot thing. Make it a planter, and then you put plants inside of it.
And you'll
Car
get the
can't go
effect.
through it.
He's going to be happy, his customer. He's going to be put 2 chairs on another side. He's going to be sit there all day long. He's make a
Well, then they're not
picnic
driving
there.
on your property, are they?
He's going to be sitting in my property then.
Oh,
Make him happy now. No.
the best thing you can do is no trespassing signs with it,
Yeah.
too. I mean,
And a lot of traffic is going to be there. If you go at nighttime, it's going to be a lot of traffic for drugs and this stuff.
especially
You're
if
not
you
there.
don't, if there's nothing in yours that's drawn
No, in my
people,
side.
so you're gonna have their parking over there. So maybe it needs to be addressed too with, not only agreements, but denial of certain things that can't be. You might have to put no parking signs and then get them enforced somehow.
We towing over 20 cars last week. I'm going to be put my towing company there all day long if you don't give me the wall. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be suing
And
them
those
later.
those people will get mad and not go there.
Yeah.
And that's bad for their business then. So they need to maybe do a little, and it's tough. People see something, you have events somewhere, people want to come and they're going to look for any parking that's open.
I know.
If that parking's open, they're going to go park there.
But I'm not going to be spending $130,000 for paving for this guy. I'm not doing it. Be honest. I'll leave it the gravel instead to put paving. I'm not doing it.
So it's how
Yeah.
you control that then.
I don't know. You guys do something at least, for spend all this kind of money for it. Yeah. At least, fence. Give me anything 6 feet. Anything.
Commissioner Barr.
If they're parking on your land, on your property, there is a statute, or there is a law in Fraser and Roseville that you cannot park unauthorized parking. When I was a magistrate, I had a lot of tickets like that. They go to a restaurant, get a cup of coffee, and then go across the street for what they wanted. They cannot park if it's, on somebody else's property. And I would suggest you put up signs, unauthorized vehicles will be towed.
I have so many signs there. Nobody cares.
Well, you can call the police and they'll come out and ticket them.
When you come in police? After they finish? 45 minutes they come in police.
And here you-
I call police so many times.
And do they come out and do something?
No.
And I don't see how the 6-foot wall will stop that. Because
Stop
there's an
that.
entry. There's
He's gonna
still
be
an
stopped
entry,
that.
and
I'll
they'll
tell you
walk-
why.
They'll walk around that entry.
They're gonna be, if you put it too wide there, right? It's gonna be customer, you know, it's gonna be hard to go around.
They'll walk around that.
No, it's gonna be hard, you know, believe me. I see it because I show you the picture in 16 Mile. I went there today. I got video. They stopped that.
We don't have the ability to approve it.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
We cannot approve it. It's not within our right to approve it. They would have to change the ordinances of Fraser for us to be able to approve it. And that is a definitely long process.
I see a lot of building in the Fraser, same way. I can show you. I got the picture all over.
It's nice, I mean, it.
Depends on where it is.
I can get you the proof and
With-
address.
with
I give you the,
Enforcement even, it's tough because a lot of these are pre-existing things that you just can't do anything about.
How long has
They
been
were
in there?
approved before, but we don't have the power to approve it, is what he's saying.
with 6 months, I give you with 6 months. How long? How long?
I don't know where you,
I say, how long has been exist? The wall, how long?
The law?
You-
Oh, I don't know, 20 years?
yeah, could have, we don't, that's all in the ordinances. Those are questions you can ask Paul to look up and find things like that for you after, but you'd have to sit down and do it. It's nothing, we don't do that on this board. We take what you're giving us and what we can approve, we can, what we can't, we can't. So, and again, if it can be granted through a variance, that's another way. That would have to go to the zoning board like the last petitioner. And
How about fence? We can't do any fence?
6 foot?
Yeah?
I'm sorry, can he apply as a variance?
he can apply. I don't know if, how the board would act on that, or, I can't say how they would act. I don't, it's back to, again, whatever they approve is okay with us. Once it's approved through that right process, we've got to accept it. But I don't know that they would, I don't want to make you waste your time and money if it's something that's not going to get approved. And that's why we have planners to help you through that process. And that's when you meet with them, and then when it comes to where everything's ready for us, then that's when we can act on things. But we can't grant certain things. We don't have the power to do that. We have power for different things, like, when we talk about just the way you're finishing the building and things like that, we can change things. But certain things we can't do, and that's one of those issues there. And I understand why you want us to have that there. I don't know that 6 foot would make a difference from a 2 foot, except like you're saying, maybe it'll have people sitting there with chairs. I don't know. I don't think so, because it's parking spots that they need that go along that side. If those parking spots are right for the Mexican restaurant, you're not going to have people there with chairs sitting there eating at your planner or whatever you do. I mean, we're just here to help you with certain things, and you come up with something, then you come to us with it, and then we tell you if that's proof. We can help you in the right direction, that's what we'll try to do. But it's not giving you quick satisfaction, because we have to approve it first.
Whoever's doing your design has to work and look at the city ordinances before he puts something down like that can't be approved, okay? So you might want to talk to the guy who did your site thing. Now, I can't tell you that if you had a stepped wall, where it started out 2 feet, went up 3 feet, went up 4 feet, went up 5 feet, so that people could see to get out. There's a big problem. People going on to Groesbeck, with there. I went to see your site, and I had a hell of a time turning my car around from in front of that end building, which I liked, but even turning my car around to get back out of that place. So I don't think we can tell you what's going to fly with the zoning board, even though I'm on the zoning board.
And you are stuck with certain things like that parking there, you can't even do what he said. because you can't step it. You don't have, you don't have
I know.
room to, you'd lose your parking spots.
No, no.
Yeah, you get
Right.
along the Aztec.
Right, but by the time you do that, now you got a thing like this wide, because of a planter thing maybe, or something to step it out.
Oh, well.
So that, and you don't have that room there. He doesn't have that luxury of room there. So he's using the parking that's there going right to the property line almost.
And what makes you think a truck could go over a 2.5-foot wall? I mean, have to be an army truck or a
And why,
tank.
just so you know why he's saying 2 foot, and that's because as a truck or car is
Not
coming
truck.
out, their vision, you
No.
can't obstruct their vision.
The people parking here sideway with the trailers, they use all parking from here to there. They sit in for 2 hours, they eating. So I don't have enough parking for my tenant. So using all my parking. At least the food is taking 2 hours to prepare the food and everything.
But that wall doesn't stop that.
No, 6 feet. They jump from here. All the construction people, they go there.
They park
eat.
there and then do. But
Yes,
I
6
think-
feet, there's not gonna be jump. 2
if you
feet, they
had it,
jump.
I still think you'll get
Yeah,
the
I'm sorry.
parking there, because if the parking lot's filled over there, they're gonna park there and they'll walk around that front. You're not that far away to walk around the front and go back to the restaurant.
Anyway, we're gonna be start a lawsuit if you open 2 feet. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be sue them every day, like we sue the
Yeah,
energy.
I'm not telling you to
Anyway,
go
it's
to-
not,
I'm just.
like I'm not
We're just trying to
through
help with-
130,000 in
We
the
know what
streets.
you can't do.
Yeah.
So you gotta
Anyway.
come to us with something that we
Yeah,
can approve.
that's true, yeah. Yeah, that's been 50 years, this building has been,
You don't have to tell me, I know, I've been here.
nothing right in this building, I sure,
No,
you know,
his problem was with,
it should,
he wants to continue on the facade.
let's go to the facade, leave this one alone. It's gonna
Can we
be,
partially tell him he can
Can we approve a portion
portion
of
of it
this site
to,
plan?
to do the facade, or would that tie your hands?
I don't think it would, no, I think you could do that. You could let him go through the facade and then, I mean, it has to be conditioned on a resolution to the wall issue. And I guess
the park.
it would happen before the certificate of occupancy happened for the.
can you do it like, you know, I do it the island and leave the wall alone now and do it later? I know talk to you, you know?
Let's go with that.
Finish with
Let's
that,
first see-
everything?
Let's go to
Yeah.
the board here. Let's
Yes.
take that to the board.
Yeah.
And see if anybody sees
Yes.
any problems with those islands.
At least make something right, you
And
know?
do we have a landscaping plan in there for those islands?
I didn't see a landscaping. plan.
Yeah, I didn't see one either. I don't remember one.
We need to know what kind of variety of bushes.
I'm
you're
doing,
putting
I'm
in
doing
there.
some trees here in towards 14 Mile.
Let's go back, because those islands, you started construction on, and we don't even know what's going on there.
Yeah, so, okay.
So what's going into that area
Okay, we're gonna be,
up there? Yes.
we're gonna be lighting, pool lighting here.
Oh, okay, just a couple of
Show you.
trees you had shown.
Who drew this for you? Who
Which
drew
one? There's another engineer, he's not here.
Well,
He's not here
put a
today.
tree in there, he knows he's got to designate what kind of trees it is,
Yeah.
what kind of green you put it in. You know,
Problem is, we get, when it comes to vegetation, we get stuff that dies, and then people don't do anything. We're looking for things that dress up, and it's for your own benefit too, and it's gonna last. So there's naturally enduring species of things, and that's why we get involved with all this stuff. We do it to help you.
Yeah.
We do it to make the site attractive, and makes the city attractive.
Yeah.
Keeps things, and not other people looking at that site and saying, well, that guy's got that, he's got dying trees, he's got this. We don't want that. We want you to be very successful.
I spend all kind of money. You come into the tree, I'm not take care of it. You think so?
No, I
Well,
can't.
think so?
Well, I can't speak for that, because
No, no,
if
I'm-
everybody
yeah.
would.
Let me tell you, there's a person who built a brand-new building.
Yeah.
And put in all shrubs along there that are all dying, that I'm very upset with.
No,
Not taking care of it.
no, we take care of it. No, we're gonna be take care of it.
Is there, I don't see any irrigation marked for that area. Is there any irrigation going in those islands for those trees and whatever you're planting there?
Allegation.
I think he means underground sprinkling.
Yeah,
No,
Sprinklers?
irrigation.
we don't do it, no.
How you gonna water those trees when we have drought like we had
No
this year?
mandate.
We're gonna be water from here, this one, we have it like hose, regular hose. Yeah. It's not too far, this building.
All right, let's stick with one thing at a time. We've got the facade. First off, let's start with that. Is there anybody else have anything to say about the facade? Nothing, no input? All right, let's jump to, we'll talk about portions of agreement after or approvals. Now let's go to the parking. Parking, I think we've expressed a problem in that south end. So think about that and how you're going to address it. And it's all going to come together with these parking agreements. You're going to need agreements signed by the people that own the bar, and you vice versa, everybody in agreement.
Yeah.
This way, we can get your striping, that they are okay with you striping those handicap spots at the northeast corner.
Which one? This one?
Yes.
Talking about those, right?
Yes, because you gotta fully stripe them. Your lot line goes right in the middle of them. So you need spots that,
He used mine. I don't use it those. He used them. That's why. All day long he used mine. That's
yeah,
anyway.
but you are required to have certain
that's fine.
handicap spots.
Okay. Yeah.
You need one of those per 25 parking spots. So
Yeah.
you got a number of parking spots, and
Yeah.
you want to be accessible for everybody to make your businesses successful. Whoever you bring in, you want them successful. Of
course.
You want to keep your tenant.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to see too. We don't like empty buildings.
No. Soon I come in there, everyone is happy now.
Yeah, well, now let's take care of the fine details.
I did
So
the
we
new
got
roofing.
details with
Yeah.
that. So parking,
Yeah.
come back with that.
For sure,
Yeah.
I do it. Yeah.
How about the islands? Has anybody got any more comments on the islands there that are put in?
Can I make a comment about the parking?
Yes.
The drawing indicates that there's 82 parking spaces. I've counted the parking spaces that are shown on this drawing, and I only see 80.
80?
80.
You don't mark here.
I didn't,
You don't mark it, I think.
I didn't count those because you don't have
You
them.
mark it, yeah, I know. You
They're
forgot, don't
not
mark it.
shown on
I
the
know.
drawing, so that's why I
You
didn't
don't.
count them.
Yes, you're right.
So.
You don't mark it.
I mean, if you're showing two parallel parking
Yes.
spaces there,
Yeah.
that's fine, but your drawing doesn't indicate that.
I
at
know,
this point.
I know, ma'am. You're
That's the
right.
only thing I'm saying. If they,
Yes,
if we decide to come back, you might want to put those two
Sure.
parking spaces in.
yeah,
That's all I'm suggesting.
yep.
But we're going to lose again on that other end.
Oh,
south end.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we still got to make up for where they're lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you're trying to get the number up, but you just can't do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you own that property, it'd be completely different. But we know you're not going to do that you're putting your money into this building and this property. So we want to see you get the most bang for your buck, but we got to make sure you're doing it all the right way.
Yeah.
So I think we could, if everybody's in agreement, anybody wants to make a motion to address certain things that we give an approval to and other things that we have them come back on. And just anybody?
I move to approve SPR 22.
Hold on one second, Frank. I'm sorry. Is there anybody in the public that wants to be heard on this? Seeing nobody, we'll take it back to the board then. Okay, go ahead.
I move to approve SPR 22-03, 33-180 Grossbeck Retail Center for him to continue to work on the facade of the building, and he must rectify the parking with the planner. He must also rectify the wall with the planner, and he must also get cross-access parking agreements put into effect and registered through the attorney with the county.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Farina and support by Commissioner Kyle.
Just a
Anything to add?
question. Commissioner Farina said parking, combined the easements with shared parking. I would think it'd be cross-access easements and shared parking. It'd be two separate agreements. But
Okay.
where are we seeking those cross-access easements and shared parking? That would be my question. Are we going to further to the north, to the Mexican restaurant?
No, the rest of
No Mexican restaurant.
No,
With
just
the-
with
only
the-
the bar,
Yeah,
Are.
all with the bar. We're not gonna be deal with Mexican.
Okay.
which will give you a lot more spots, too, than what's already talked about, if by having a shared agreement. Cross-access, you have to make your parking spots work.
Yeah,
So access, by,
we have access between our,
no.
yeah,
An agreement, because
Yeah.
that's their property you're accessing those spots through.
yeah.
So do you understand that?
Yes.
You're going to put lines, because you have to have all your striping right, and those
I
lines are
understand.
going to
Yeah, I
be on
understand.
their property.
Yes.
So we need that cross-access agreement. Now, shared parking is a whole different thing, and another agreement then for shared parking, which you could get with them while they're giving you cross-access.
Okay.
Then you get an agreement for shared parking, and that gains you more spots. That looks more favorable for us to approve.
Okay,
So we're trying to help you.
I got you.
I mean, but you got to do these things to get to that point. You can stay in touch with our planners and see if there's something you don't remember that we're talking about, or what it means. What did they mean by this?
Yes.
Get with him, and then we'll address it at the next.
I got it.
And if we need to go for variances, I don't know of what's going to be allowable with that 6-foot wall. Maybe you can come up with something that works, and,
If he steps it, would that make a difference?
That's what I said.
Have it lower at the front like Frank said?
oh, you're talking step from the front
Yeah.
to the back. Oh, so at least vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing is to give vision to the people coming out of that.
That's
parking.
fine, if you do it that way.
So do you
great.
understand what he
I
means
understand,
that
yeah,
way?
yeah, from there, like this. Yes, that's fine.
Well, again, we can't say that that's good. It's got to go to the zoning board for that.
Okay, got you.
Now,
Fair enough.
So that's good. At least you got.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe something you could
Clark?
address.
Can I ask Clark? Clark, did we miss anything there? I said continue on the facade only. Parking is not approved and must be addressed.
Right.
Come back. The wall is not approved, and they need a variance, or they must come back with something different.
And if you're going to postpone approval on the site plan review of those items, you ought to specify that somewhere in the motion so that, that
And then the last thing was they require shared parking agreement put on record with the county, right?
Right.
One more thing, please give me the, if you got the proof for that one to.
That's what
paving- Yeah, paving for the parking lot,
I
yeah.
was just going to bring that up,
Yeah,
that if we can
to
get you
pave the park-
approved,
yeah.
you can finish those
Parking lot and.
those islands.
Yeah, paving,
And for the improvement of the.
for winter, yeah.
Striping and all that,
Yes.
we can address after. Your main thing is
Yeah.
take care of construction that's in the process right now and not put it at a standstill.
Yeah, okay.
So is that favorable to add that to the motion maker? Okay. So,
I have a question, real quick question. Did you mention the landscaping that,
Oh, you're right.
that,
Require detail on the landscaping.
so you understand you can build these islands, just come up with a landscaping plan that's acceptable by the board. And again, through Mr. Urbio, you can save time and get a lot of that stuff done, but I know where you're at with construction. You want to get these islands in, you want to get that parking lot set up, and we've got no problem with that. So do you understand what the motion that he made?
Yeah,
Okay, and the facade, you can keep working on that, get that done.
sure.
So,
Okay.
go over it one more time.
Okay.
Okay. He's We're approving continuing work on the facade only, not approving the parking, not approving the wall. We required shared parking agreement on the record with the county, and we require details on the landscaping plan. And wasn't there one other-
Cross-access
And,
agreement.
and require, well, isn't that the shared parking agreement?
No, you need both, cross-access agreement.
And we require
shared parking.
a cross-access agreement on the record with the county, approved by our council.
This for the back building too. Oh, let me mention. Oh, this for the back building too, sorry. The facade,
Oh, okay, so it will be continued like it is in the
yeah,
front.
same thing, the back building too. It's gonna be,
That's phase two.
Better than
yeah, it's gonna be same thing.
I'm so happy what
Yeah,
you're doing.
I'm gonna do it, after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Thanks for putting an investment in
No
the
problem.
city here.
yeah.
And
So for this building,
one other thing is, that parking lot is an absolute disaster, okay? I will not approve anything without that parking lot being redone. Now, you plan on redoing that parking lot?
That's part of this.
already I've been done 25%, so I'm stopped because the Mexican guy, that's why.
Well, you can continue according to this. Well, wait, we'll tell you after we have to approve this first.
Okay.
Anything else that we were missing on that? I think we got it. Let's run through it one more time, so, because the more we tell you, the more you'll know what you got to do.
Okay,
This is the motion that's going to be voted on, right?
okay, for sure.
So listen to everything he says again. I'm doing it.
You're doing it for me. We are allowing continuance and approval on the site plan for the facade only. We are not approving the parking. We are not approving the wall as it is there. He either requires a variance or a difference there. Required a shared parking agreement on the record, approved by our council and the county. Require details on the landscaping plan for what's going to be put into the landscaping. And we require a cross-access agreement on record through our attorneys with the county.
One more thing.
We're approving.
The islands.
The islands we are approving.
It's just what goes in them, the landscaping details of what goes in them.
Facade and
Island.
fabrication of the islands. Okay.
Okay, does this?
I don't mean to make it complicated, but Commissioner Farina says required to seek a variance, require a variance. He's not required to get a variance. He can seek a variance, and if he doesn't get the variance, he can come back in front of our board and say, will you accept alternative landscaping or a lower wall?
That's true.
Okay, so it's not required, but seek a variance should he.
Well, in its present,
And I don't mean to be complicated. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't required.
And you're supporting this, so we got to make sure you're supporting the right thing. Okay, we got it?
I'm not reading it again.
I think we understand.
I think we're,
Do we-
the full board
Let's go
understands, yes.
to the clerk, because she's the one that's probably written this thing down too many times.
Would you like me to read back what
If you could read back what we're going to approve
I
or,
just told him before the meeting, that's the biggest scare of anyone that takes the record.
Yes.
I said, that's the one thing, you're like, no, wait, I have to listen to this.
Yeah.
again." So, you made a motion to approve site plan 22-03-33180 Grossback to,
Your
allow
microphone.
him to approve the site.
He's gonna get your microphone.
Hi. It's not gonna work. Here, let me, is. Okay. To approve the site plan to complete work on the facade as presented. And then I have, he must, you are not approving the parking, he must rectify the parking. he must rectify the issue on the proposed wall. He may seek a variance through the ZBA. He is to get official signed agreements for shared parking and access parking, which will be approved by our council and recorded at the county. And we were adding that he is to submit the required detailed landscaping plans. Those are the issues that I have covered. I will make it sound better because I heard it different
Did
ways.
you add the islands, the completion of the islands? I don't remember that on there.
We did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I think we have it. So we have a motion. Do we still have support on that same motion?
Yeah, support still.
Okay, well, we had the supporter and,
Kyle supported
Yeah,
it.
Kyle
oh, you
supported.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought, okay, so we have motion and support. All in favor, let's do a roll call on this.
Barr,
Yes,
Zarnicki,
Yes.
Farina,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Warnock.
Yes. All right, so we got you doing something. Keep doing that, but stay away from the things we talked about until we will come back for all that.
All right.
But at least you can keep improving what you got there. And then if you want to address some of the fence thing, and you got to go to zoning board of appeals, get that process going as soon as you can, because it's going to hold us up from giving you full approval of this whole site plan. We want to see you successful.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Gotta be the trickiest meeting ever.
All right, let's go to the third one, SPR 22-04, 15-mile industrial development. And we've seen this gentleman many times. If you can give your name and address.
232 Locust Road, Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Emmett Barada, 47978 Malonis Drive, Shelby Township.
Can you give us your positions for what involved with this project?
I'm the Fairway Packing Company.
Owner or
Actually,
representative?
Representative, yeah. My father does own the company.
Okay. And John?
John Seco, Allegra Development, with the property owner, landowner and developer of the property.
Okay. Paul, if you can give us the background.
Sure. So the applicants are proposing to build a new 31,000, roughly 31,500 square foot warehouse and processing facility for the tenant, Fairway Packing, on a 1.87 acre site on the south side of 15 Mile between Kelly Road and Bennett Drive. This facility would be situated directly adjacent to the existing Carmela Foods. It's a vacant piece of property between Carmela and 15 Mile. I think the development of this site is an exciting possibility, and this is a good use that is permitted by the zoning district. Site plan is not quite ready to be approved, but I thought it'd be useful to have the discussion and to sort of iron some things out in the interest of continuing forward. So the facility, as you see, is proposed to be on a separate parcel adjacent to Carmela Foods. It's proposed to function essentially as a campus with Carmela Foods because it shares some space, some maneuvering area. And as drawn, the building actually encroaches over the property line, but the property line has zero setback. There's a 20-foot setback required by the ordinance. Since it appears to be functional as a campus, as long as there's agreements in place, we think that that's okay, but we suggest that the lot line move with the assessor to provide the required setback, because there is a setback required that's not met. That seems a solution for that. Excuse me. You saw in our review that there were a couple other things. The site, as we understand it, potentially has enough parking using the warehouse ratios. We are looking for a little more detail about the current parking demand at Carmela, which factors into the entire site. This building would take up a little of the existing parking, add some, and as I said earlier, sort of use some of the space that is on the other property to support this potential use. If you look at it in sum, I think there's a path to where there is enough parking on the site. But again, there's just, that's presuming that we use the warehouse building parking ratio. And so we just wanted a little bit more detail about the demand there. There's landscaping that's proposed along 15 Mile that was provided to you. The architecture of the building, there's a office area and mezzanine that is proposed to be glass and masonry in the corner here. The rest of the warehouse building, as it's proposed, is insulated metal panel. And the applicant and I had an email exchange about this, and he expressed that the setup is a lot like what is at Carmela Foods. You can get an idea of what that metal panel looks like. I think that's fine. It's appropriate, except on that 15-mile frontage, there's an ordinance requirement that that buildings in this district are constructed of masonry or stone materials. I think there's a lot of precedent for blended facades with masonry bases and something else up front that exists at Carmela Foods, it exists next door. So I think the facade, my suggestion is that the facade be revised to include at least a masonry base on the 15-mile frontage only. The corner of the office area and the mezzanine as it wraps, I think that's appropriate. It's visually fairly attractive. And then, other than that, I think the rest of the issues that we had from a staff perspective can be handled administratively. It's details about the lighting, which I don't foresee being a problem. It's surrounded by industrial property, but in order to heed the intent of the ordinance, we need those details. And then the applicant also provided some information about the operation, and you can present it here as well, that there will be no odor issues here. The ordinance also requires that the applicant just sign a statement that the use that's proposed will meet all the performance standards in the ordinance. I don't see any problems. I don't foresee any problems with the use as it's stated and those performance requirements. Again, it's just administratively we need that form. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions for Mr. Urbio?
You said you wanted a masonry base. Are you suggesting, when I drove back to the building in the back, on the drive facade, the masonry was above the man doors? It was like 6 courses above the man doors. Mm-hmm. When you suggested you wanted a masonry base, were you suggesting they continue the line from the underside of the window across? Were you suggesting that the top of the masonry was at the top of the man door? Were you suggesting that the top of the masonry went in line with the top of the windows? What would you suggest is adequate masonry for that facade?
I think if you look at the precedent, so I wasn't suggesting a specific solution. I was asking the applicant to provide a solution that was different than what was proposed.
Okay.
The applicant's going in proposition was that it's all metal. Mm-hmm. And I think there's maybe a way to compromise, I guess. Okay. I think if I look at the frontage of 15 Mile, a lot of it was built with full masonry. Mm-hmm. Some of it was built, a lot of those buildings were built with the office use up front on the 15 Mile frontage, which is clad in masonry, and then some other industrial material behind it. I guess, I don't know what the proper extent is. I would say probably above the man door, at least. I think there is precedent in places that are not quite so prominent for it to be more of a, something like this high.
Right,
Like
okay.
literally a base that does not take that entire first floor. But again, I don't have a specific, there's not a specific requirement. The requirement is that it's clad in masonry. Given its prominence, I think there should be more masonry on it.
And this is, we're not looking at a full approval. You guys are in the process still of, it sounded like when you first presented it that it's not,
Well,
it's an initial look for us at it.
So the application was received fairly late in the cycle, but the applicant expressed some interest in getting moving perhaps this season. So instead of waiting for the back and forth, I thought it'd be useful to just sort of talk about the issues that we had on first blush, iron that out, and then come back.
Any other questions for Mr. Urbiel?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, how can we even talk about this when part of the building is set to go on past the property line? Is it because the same owner owns the back building?
The same owner owns both buildings. It's my understanding that that will continue, and I think they can function as a campus. As I said, I think to meet the requirements of the ordinance, the property line should be adjusted 20 feet.
I'll tell you, let me just tell you right now, it's going to have to be adjusted because you can't have zero lot line with the building having openings. And for them to maintain those openings on that side of the building, they've got to have the property line has to be adjusted or those openings have to go away.
So,
And I know you don't want to function without those openings.
right, and so Mr. Farina, I think the drawing as it is, I don't think is ready to be approved. I think there's a solution, there's a way forward.
So- And that's just a building code issue, so, they have to follow those. So I don't think there's going to be any problem. Before I talk, and then, let's go to, anybody else up here have any questions for Mr. Urbiel? Let's go to the petitioner and see if they have anything to add to his presentation.
The question I guess I have for you is, so you're suggesting that the lot line needs to be moved so that the building's not on top of it, or the lot line needs to be moved 20 feet, or the building needs to be moved 20 feet?
There needs to be a 20-foot setback. So since you own both parcels, my suggestion is that getting that is a better solution than getting a variance for the setback. And the drawing has to be revised so the building's on its own parcel. But I think if you moved it to provide the required setback and then ensure that there are agreements that tie those two together, you can use both parcels. I know it's not an issue now, but we just try to defend against changes in ownership.
No, I understand. So just if we move the property line south 20 feet, that achieves the rear yard setback of 20 feet, and then have proper parking agreements in place so that, because it was really developed as a campus, as you said.
Right. And yeah, an agreement, because it's, again, not an issue now because it's your property on both sides, but an agreement that the rear property would always have access to that line. I'm saying 20 feet. I guess it needs to provide a 20-foot setback. So as it's drawn, it'd need to be a couple feet more than that.
Okay.
If you look in the ordinance, it does allow zero lot line. The only problem is what I was saying is a building issue. You can't build, zero lot line's only allowed if you got the rated wall down there, which would mean no openings in that wall. So to get away from the building requirement, you need that distance away from the building, so that meets it then, the 20-foot. So to make it all work and keep the building design like you have it, you could get away from that and not, because right now you could build zero lot line, but you don't want to because you're going to lose all that.
Correct.
So,
You said this is being built as a campus, okay, one campus. Have you thought about combining those two lots?
Yes, we have, but for financing purposes, it would make more sense to keep them separate.
So that's something you can work on.
It's the same ownership. The same owner owns both properties. Just,
But if his, his dad retires and you take over and you want to go to Tahiti and you want to get rid of everything, are you selling one piece of property or two pieces of property, And that's why you can't have it on the lot line,
I think we can achieve what we want to achieve just through cross-parking agreements and access agreements that, would be recorded at the county, so there wouldn't be a problem accessing the properties. But for financing purposes, it's going to be very difficult for us to combine the properties.
But the split would be, you can move the lot line,
Correct.
and that would be the simplest solution, it sounds like.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's something
That,
you'll be looking at.
Paul, is that
Yes.
acceptable to you?
That works.
Yeah,
Clark?
That works.
Okay.
Let's let you guys finish. What did you want to add to his presentation?
We started this project back in 2001. We purchased the property and we built a building for Carmela Foods, which was it was originally 33,000 feet. It was designed with the intention of future expansions, and that's what the campus, I think, is what they're alluding to. Fairway Packing has been in business for over 60 years. They've worked with Carmela Foods for the past 30 years. Carmela distributes for them across Michigan and Ohio, and they've been talking for many years about having the Fairway facility closer to Carmela Foods so that Carmela could distribute their product more efficiently across Michigan and Ohio. And this opportunity has come up. They're currently literally bursting at the seams at their current facility in Detroit. And it makes so much sense for them to be able to work together. They're planning on putting, over, I think this whole development cost will be well in excess of $10 million. Will create a lot of good, high-paying jobs here in Fraser, and will really, it'll just the synergies between the two companies are huge, and it'll really benefit the local community and be a win-win, I think, for everybody here.
And a background for everybody, John's been involved with them. I've been involved with John since that 2001 building, and I've inspected everything he did up to this point. And it's a first-class building. Everything has been, did I have many rejections of anything? I can't think of it because
I don't think so.
It was so good. You did do such a great job with them. So continuing this was just a matter of time for the next whoever took over this other area. So background-wise, I think being the same coordinator is good for this whole operation because it'll be a consistent effort. And I know the fact with the refrigeration and how the building's got to be, that had to be done on the Carmela building. And it's just facing 15 Mile that makes it a little different. And so if we can work with that, I think we can all work together to get that thing working good and give a nice appearance on 15 Mile. One thing I want to bring up is the Carmela trucks, because right now you go in there and they take up that whole area. Is there a way, and I love seeing their trucks. I'm up in Traverse City and I see their trucks. I'm all over Michigan and you see their trucks, and I know they're coming from Fraser, and I go, wow, this is cool. And then you go in Ohio and I saw them over the border over there, and I go, this is great. So I can see you guys, it'll be a great operation between the two of you. So now we just get this building right, and we get things moving for you guys. I'm excited about you coming to Fraser.
Thank you. That's been, we're very excited about it also. We've been, like John said, we've been family-owned and operated business for over 60 years. We've been down in Detroit for that entire length of time. We've outgrown our current facility, and our partnership with Carmela our partnership with Carmela Foods as our distribution source. We're pretty proud to be able to do this in Macomb County, and especially in Fraser. I'm a Macomb County resident myself, so this is home for me. I think we've got a great opportunity, like John said, to create some jobs. We're looking to create over 100 jobs just within this new building here. So we will be creating that world-class food campus, as we've been talking about, where we're processing some of the nation's finest proteins, and we're distributing them to some of the best restaurants. Was in Michigan, now we're going into Ohio, and we have plans to expand from there. So I think the city of Fraser, we'd hope to make you guys proud, also to know that all this is happening right on 15 Mile Road.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Anybody else have anything else any questions for them? Go ahead, Frank.
With packing plants, there's oftentimes odors that come out. How are you going to manage that?
So we don't, we're not a slaughterhouse. The product comes into us in what's called the boxed beef format, and then we're going to be taking it there, and then we'll be getting certain specifications from chefs as to how to break down into steaks for the chefs and for the restaurants. We'll do it from there, and we'll pack the steaks in burgers also, but we'll be a USDA facility. It will be a HACCP facility also, and the USDA HACCP facilities are known as some of the cleanest facilities in the country. Just the way they're governed, the way they're maintained, the stuff that we have to do, the cleanliness that we're held to, not only by the USDA standards, but by our own standards also. You know, we pride ourselves on having our chefs and our customers come into our facility and seeing a completely, spotless and clean environment.
You sell to the public?
So we do. We actually just opened up our first direct-to-consumer steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods, and then we do have an e-commerce site also that people could buy, and then we could ship.
But at this
right to your
facility, there won't be a...
There won't be, no.
Okay.
No.
Just want to make sure. No, Rinaldi was like that, and now Rinaldi's left Fraser, and
Yeah.
now they've gotten bigger, and they're out in Shelby now.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't hold them there, so
Yeah.
it was nice to have a, company and see them grow.
Yeah.
And we hope you grow. We don't want to see you leave if you come here, but
Yeah.
we want to see you grow.
Well, I think that the plan is to build this building and stay here for quite a while, so.
That's good.
Now, did you see Mr. Herbel's conclusions on what he says has to be done? Are you up with that? The applicant receives the lot line adjustment, okay, that's one.
Correct.
Prior to issuance of certificate of occupancy, the applicant must record shared access agreement and appropriate reciprocal easements for use of utilities to ensure that if either parcel is ever sold, both parcels are able to function independently. The applicant clarify the use of the building and conform parking demand, including the number of employees on the anticipated largest shift, to confirm the capability with the ordinance requirements. At least the front footage of the facade of the building is enhanced with a minimum of masonry base along with the entire 15-mile road frontage. Prior to the issuance of building permit, the applicant must submit details of the proposed site lighting plan to ensure compliance with the zoning ordinances. The applicant must have signed certified statement of the owner of property indicating compliance with the performance standards of Fraser zoning ordinance 32-144, and that has to do with the smells I was talking about and other things. So, that's anything, Paul?
I'm sure you got a copy of that from them, did you?
I'm sorry?
I'm sure you got a copy of that from Mr. Urbiel. Did you get that review? Do they have a copy?
Yes.
And that's at the back of it. He's just saying what the conclusions he's come to. Well,
Okay.
it was our presentation given to us by him, giving us all the background info and the setbacks and all the technical info.
Okay.
So now that the conclusions were this, if we were to act on this tonight and give our approval, it would be with these recommendation, or requirements to approve it. So you need to be aware of those to see if there's anything now that you might want to address us on, maybe changing something, or, I don't know if we're expected to act on this today. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff still out, or what?
I mean, I think there is a lot of stuff still out there.
Because we got like lighting plans.
It's your prerogative, I guess.
So we can, I'm so used to in the building area doing partial approvals. This isn't a partial approval. We want to,
Yeah, it would be a full approval conditional on the fulfillment of these requirements.
conditional on these conclusions that you set forth.
In which case, I would ask for some guidance about what you expect to see in the front, or the other way is to just postpone it for resubmittal.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
just have a few questions, but then I'm going to make a suggestion. Is the Detroit facility going to continue to be operating, or is that going to be closing?
We're going to move our full operation out to Fraser.
Okay.
Yes. But we still do own that building down there. We have not determined what we're going to do with it yet.
Okay. And the issues that are cited in Mr. Urbriel's report, do you have no concerns on that? You will follow through with what we're asking? Any of the
Sorry?
issues, of the concerns in Mr. Urbriel's report? What Mr. Commissioner just Farina read to you, there's some concerns. I'm assuming that you have no problem?
I have no problem with moving the lot line. We have no problem with it, revising the front facade.
No problems with your signature on the performance standards and so forth?
No, we've built, several buildings in Fraser, Mold Tech, Caratron, Carmela Foods, all in that industrial park, and so we're very familiar with Fraser, and I think we have no problems with that.
Okay, thank you. And my suggestion, Mr. Chair, is that we ask the applicant to go back and give us a revised plan and come back with a complete revise so we know what we're approving. But that's my suggestion.
Well, and I would accept that as a motion. If any, if there's no other comments, does anybody else have anything they wish to question or comments? Anybody? Again, I feel we couldn't ask for a better person to work with, because John has been through this whole process many a times. He's probably sick of sitting out here. I can't speak any higher of him. He's worked very well with the city, and I know he will continue that because his product shows it, that he finishes with. So I know there'll be a great relationship between Fraser and John, and hopefully with Fairway right away then, too. So does anybody want to make a motion, or do you want to continue?
Make a motion to postpone if we weren't going to act upon it.
If we want to go that route, then yeah.
We're going to make it to postpone?
But it's got to be a motion, so,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Paul, what would you like to see happen?
As I said, my going in was that I assume that you would like to see more of it resolved instead of delegating it completely to me. You can
that's true.
do that, and I'm happy to continue the conversation. But again, I guess I would. I think the
will this
facade should
hinder
come
the
before
growth, the movement of you into Fraser? Is it going to set you back, or you guys are at that stage where you're definitely not set with everything yet anyway? Or let's get your input too, and your timeline. That's, I guess, the best thing for us is to know what your timeline expectations are, because we'll work with you.
Timing for us is important, yes, just because of the growth that we're having down at our facility. So that's why, working with John, we were excited to hear that some of the timeframes that we could get, possibly get this project done and put into place. We did have opportunities down into Detroit to stay in Detroit, and we found this one to be our best opportunity as a partnership with Carmela Grows as a distribution source, and And again, just the respect that we have for Macomb County and Fraser for everything we've seen happen, we thought this was going to be the best opportunity for us. So we'd like to get the project going and underway, because with the USDA, there is a lot of guidelines that we have to follow, and there is a lot of stuff that has to be submitted into Washington DC to make sure their approvals are put into place for what's happening inside the building. So yeah, for us, timing, as soon as we get going, the better. That's for sure.
So I know we want to see a building that is good. I don't have a problem with that because we know it's going to be a good building, but is there anything that us postponing till next month would hurt your process to get the building going?
We really kind of wanted to get going on building permits so we could get the building going this fall before the snow flies. And every month that we get pushed back, we're going to be getting closer to, that January timeframe where, the asphalt plants are closed and it gets really difficult to pour concrete and gets difficult to work outside just because, all the masonry becomes difficult because, you're dealing with, mortar and so forth. And so we're
Biggest
trying.
thing to me that even before you start, has got to be that lot line fixed.
I'm sorry?
The biggest thing is you got to get that lot line fixed.
That's just having the engineer redraw the line and
Internal,
coming up with a new
same
legal
line.
description, and that's really not a big deal.
Yeah. That's internal. It's all the same ownership. It's not two different ownerships here. That would be a problem. That wouldn't be a guarantee. But being the same owner and they just want to move a lot line, I don't see a big issue. Clark, in the process, do you see anything with that?
In fact, under the Land Division Act, when you're moving a lot line like that, it isn't even considered a split and an accommodation. So it's a pretty streamlined, easy process.
Yeah. So I don't see that as a holdup to that. If we're okay with the location and everything, and foundation permits could be issued, that's the first thing, and that's not, and still you got to go through the building permit process, which doesn't happen overnight.
Correct.
But if he can start working on a foundation permit, that's allowed. So if you talk to the building official and see what he will do to help you move along, we could probably go that route. But these things that we want to see finalized are sounds like appearance-wise, lighting. I think, does anybody have any problem with landscaping? I thought it was pretty nice.
I thought it was good.
Just like to know what the facade's going to look like on 15 Mile.
Yeah.
Have a-
And
What do
you
you
need that
propose?
for your footing detail too, because if you're going to put a facade that extends now to brick, you're going to have a wider footing.
Correct. Yeah, the reason why we went the metal siding, just so everyone knows, is this is going to be a fully refrigerated facility. And part of what they do, they can't really have moisture, if it's a real hot, humid day, you don't want that humidity entering the building. So that these panels are specially made for USDA facilities where they're 100% vapor proof, and they're really, really, very highly insulated panels. And you just can't achieve those kind of insulation values with brick and block. It just doesn't get there. Plus, the vapor can freely go through brick and block where, the metal panels, it can't. So it's just, that was our intention, but we can definitely dress it up.
That's what I was going to.
Make it look a little bit nicer.
Maybe there's a way to do it with a separation.
Yeah.
The walls can act the way they need to, but you can adjust that appearance on 15 Mile
Correct.
somehow. And that's where I think we need to.
It sounds like what Paul's alluding to is just running a brick band across the front of the building along 15 Mile to satisfy the ordinance and make it, just dress it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Make it look nicer. Did you have an elevation you could share with them of the front entrance? Because it is pretty nice. I mean, we have glass and masonry going up across the entire front.
Yeah. modern looking there. And I think almost all those buildings have that same,
Yeah, very similar.
yeah, except for the, the front of the initial one. As you changed along, I know it kept uniformity, but varied the looks of each building. So,
It sounds like, Paul, what you were looking for is maybe to carry that brick band across the front over the man doors, I guess, which would,
I mean, I think that, yeah, I think that sounds right without seeing a drawing of it. But I'm looking at up and down the 15-mile frontage. Right next door, there's a one-story that takes it that full office height. And again, I know that there's precedent for it in different places with the insulated panel above. So I guess I leave it to your architect to pick an elevation, but I think there should be something that dresses up the metal panel.
okay.
something that would separate the refrigeration wall. Basically, climate-wise, you won't be affecting that by changing the appearance, at least. I'm sure there's different ways you can achieve that, so. Well, it's, not right against it, they can't because of the problems with the moisture and that, but there are other ways maybe, whether it be extending out with something a little more for just the brick facade work. We'll let you work on that.
Okay.
The thing is, at this stage, it's kind of tough for us without that to get to know what your foundation's going to have to be.
Correct.
So that's going to, that apparently will be a holdup because that's where the building starts.
Right, exactly.
The first thing you got to do is get that foundation in. And that's the only thing I know you can split from a building permit is get a foundation-only permit. But you can't, that's it. So I don't know if that works, how we can make that work for you.
So basically, so I think what we could do, if it would satisfy the commission, is, revise the drawings, resubmit for the next, planning commission meeting, and probably at the same time, I would feel pretty confident that we could be working on our building drawings at the same time. And then with the hopes that now that we've had this good conversation, we submit next month, hopefully it gets approved, and at that point, we could just submit for building permits basically the next day.
Then you got October, November, and you're already into the bad weather probably.
Right, well, that's,
So I know it's a process. It's Michigan, yeah. Who knows when we'll have bad weather, but. But if that works for you guys, we can postpone then till October's meeting. So we got a month to work with that, and you could keep in contact with the building department and Paul and kind of get ready. If there's any reviews he can start doing maybe and help you be ready for our final approval.
okay.
Is that good? Okay, so Kathy, did you actually state a motion or?
I didn't see a reason to postpone it, but I'll make a motion to postpone if you like. I move to post.
Oh, hold on. You don't see a reason to postpone
The
it?
applicant knows, to me, just come back with the revised site plan in front of us to approve. I'm not sure why we're postponing an item that we don't need to act upon.
I, as chair, would be in agreement of that.
I agree with that, too.
So why don't, make the motion you feel comfortable with.
I just don't think there needs to be a motion. Does there need to be a motion, Mr. Andrews?
You need to do something, either postpone it or conditionally approve it.
Okay, all right. All right. I move to postpone item, I got to make sure I have the right item in front of me here.
22-04.
I move to postpone item SPR 22-04, 15-mile industrial development, parcel 1132-226016, to the November, October meeting, and I don't have a date in front of me.
5th, I think.
October 5,
I think it was.
2022.
Do we have support?
I support.
I support.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Zarnecki, support by Commissioner Farina. Let's do a roll call on that.
Barr,
Yes.
Zarnicki,
Yes.
Farina,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Harry,
Yep.
Gordon.
Yes. Okay, so you know your homework.
Okay.
And we're excited for you and looking forward to having you in the community.
Thank you.
John, if I can
Thank
help
you.
you anyway, let me know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go to unfinished business. Probably would have been better to put unfinished at the beginning. Is this our regular thing?
In your
Sometimes
bylaws, yes.
unfinished, you want to help those people get out of here because they're probably falling asleep already, but,
This is,
so we'll go for SLU 22-0134-360 Utica Road Shooters Proposed Outdoor Patio. And we have our applicant or petitioners here, so why don't you give your name again and just get that into the microphone.
Kotaseski,
And,
address 866 Majestic Rochester Hills.
yeah, main thing was get both of you.
Good evening. I'm Lee Stevens, Stevens Architects at 209 Huron Avenue, Port Huron, Michigan.
Okay. Paul, do you want to update us on this one?
Yes, sir. If, in a moment, we'll have the drawings up, and I will do that. My apologies. I apologize for that. This matter, as you remember from last month, is a proposal for special land use approval for an outdoor eating and drinking establishment at 34360 Utica Road at Shooter's Bar. The applicant, sorry, the screen's not cooperating with me. Okay, once again, I apologize for the technical delays. At the last meeting, commissioners, you discussed this proposed patio and asked the petitioner to submit a revised proposal that addressed the following: the addition of a bike rack, the sign repair on the front and rear of the building, details on the lighting, proposed hours of operation for the patio, maximum occupancy, and a plan of the table configuration of the planters, a dumpster enclosure proposal, and the addition of ADA parking spaces. These items have pretty much been addressed by the revised submission. As you see, there's some revision of the existing parking lot to add accessible spaces. I did have a question about those spaces versus the change in elevation to the curb on the existing facade. But there is the addition of ADA parking spaces, assuming that that can be worked out with the curb. The plan is a little bit reconfigured, and you have it in your packets. The applicant is actually proposing restriping additional spaces across the front of the plaza, which I think from the point of view of the patio and making the patio safer, and for a lot of reasons, is a better solution. It's more sensible. The only thing that we noted is that this requires then that the circulation to access these rear spaces goes across the property line. I think that condition exists over here in the current state, so I presume that it's not going to be an issue to formalize an agreement to share that access. But I think that agreement should be added, so that there's no misunderstanding about that circulation pattern. But that provides new parking spaces for the site. There's, the planner layout is there in your packets. There is a layout of the proposed patio with the bike rack in the rear, and elevations that I think you saw before of what the proposed character of the patio is. There was details about the lighting. As the petitioner had mentioned last time, the signs were ordered. The signs have been repaired in the front and rear of the building. He had also noted that it might take a little longer for the window, so I think the stipulation that the approval is conditioned on the restoration of that window should remain, but there is progress, I guess, in that regard as far as the repair of the existing facilities. And then the only other note is that the site plan says that the operation is proposed to go from May 1st to October 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., which, as Commissioner Meyer had noted, I think the commission had some hesitancy about those hours last time.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Urbil? Seeing none, let's go to, is there
Yeah,
one?
they do. I don't know if it's for Paul or for them. Where those handicap spots are, isn't that curb supposed to be cut out so that you can get a wheelchair up there?
That's what he talked about. Paul brought that up, and it's just going to have to get worked out. So unless you guys have an answer to
Yeah,
that.
we're not really going to cut the curb out, we're going to build the asphalt up. We're repaving, so we're going to build the asphalt up, which creates the same.
So that'll solve that. Okay, nobody else? Then let's go back to the petitioner. Is there anything else? I got to commend you because the drawing's so much nicer now. We have something that we can approve, because last time it was kind of tough to work with it, but I think we got it. Well, go ahead. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think we've updated the drawings to meet, what you're thinking, and I think we're in the city's most intense commercial area, so we're not really creating anything that's going to affect the neighborhood or the area. We're in that, what is it called, the general zone, so it's really made for our operation. Now, one thing we did different, I think, than we created this dumpster enclosure. We talked about creating it at the far end of the building, but we really created it by our back door because we're the ones that really create daily waste.
Is everybody using this?
Everybody can use it, yeah. I'll tell you, everybody can use it, yeah. It's for the group, it's for the whole. So, but most of the people down here are emptying a couple of waste baskets.
Yeah.
So that's why we put it by us. And, which was something different. There's an electrical transformer right next to it, so we don't have any parking right there anyway. And we made the enclosure a little larger because we have a dumpster, but we also have our cooking oil.
Grease trap, yeah.
And we also have
Grease.
some other,
Yeah.
so that's why the size, and that's why the location of that is there. And then we've, put a bike rack in, and, we do have a back door there kind of at the north end, north corner in the back, which is used by those parking spaces, and we use that parking back there for our employees. Probably 90% of the customers park in front. And that's where we really are. We think they're going to build a restaurant down from here, which is going to add to our business and add to their business. So we think they're very compatible, and what we're doing is pretty simple in a way and pretty easy to do, and it helped us with some parking. And
Thanks for addressing those handicap
think
spots.
yeah,
You did
we
a good
got-
job, and I think it's going to help
Yeah.
Tom's business, because being at the back there too, and at the front now,
Yep.
it just opens it up better.
And so we have some space also around our patio, so it can be a little better, nicer than having to drive. So we'd like to get approval for this because we'd like to move ahead. Now, to answer your question, we do have the window ordered through Harmon Glass, which is a glass company.
Next Wednesday, they're gonna install.
Yeah.
Oh, next Wednesday, they're gonna put the window.
Oh, they already got it in then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And,
good. That's quick compared to how
I
long
fixed
they
the,
run.
Last meeting.
I fixed the signs bolt.
Yeah.
The
sign-
sign, now, I know Paul, you said the signs are done. When I went by and looked, the shooter's part is still old up there.
No, I fixed
It isn't?
On a building?
No, 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 on the outside sign. Has that stayed the same?
Yeah, but I fixed on a building.
Oh, this is just the building ones, okay, yeah.
So we're really good with the Harmon Glass is a big company, and so they're good
Yeah.
with putting that in. We got that ordered and paid for. And the signs
And,
done.
So that'll change
They're
that
gonna
look.
fix next week.
So what's the finished look on those places there that are unfinished right now? It's gonna be windows, it's gonna look, or what? What's each one of them? Are they gonna just that
The
one?
window, yeah.
The rest is stucco, the other is stucco still?
Window.
The stucco
They're all,
stays.
the stucco stays, but the one that needs the repair is all gonna be the
Yeah,
window.
next week.
Yeah. And then we'd like to get site plan approval because we have our asphalt ordered to repave the parking lot and put those.
Front and back, the whole thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whole thing.
So that's for the whole complex?
Yes.
Right, so they're ready to do that if we get approval tonight. They're ready
They're
to go ahead
gonna
and
do the
pave.
same time.
Because everybody has to pitch in, right? So you'll have a nice new site there then, outside.
Yeah,
Every-
so that really solves the ADA.
Yep.
Solves our paving, makes our paving nice.
And it still meets the ADA for all of them. I think that's good, the way you designed them, keeping those ones at the other end too. And then that gives you 4 in the front. Only thing, did you have enough for a loading zone one?
We really have some, where we accept the food is in the back.
Yeah, but no, for handicap, for van
Oh, yeah,
accessible.
yeah, for a van spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that.
Okay.
So really, so the real fact is, the right-hand end of the building is some offices and things
Yeah.
that have very low use.
Very low use.
So we did put a handicap down there, but we don't know what they're using.
Right.
And then we
They'll still have
ours.
access to those 4 though.
Yeah, we'll really use those 4, but we could use those 2 in back too, because we do have an entrance right by those
Right.
2 also.
You got the door coming down the hallway there.
Yeah, there's the door, you come down that hall and in, so people do use that.
Yep.
So we're pretty, we think the site plan works well, put it that way. So if we can get approval, then we'll get the pavement done this fall,
Before the winter.
the next spring.
Yep. And if it works together with theirs, because they got that all tore up at Hockeyland. So if you can blend nice and everything works good. All right, now anybody, Mr. Frank?
All of these temporary signs, are they gonna go away? They're ugly.
The ones on,
Temporary signs on
You said if you
on the
go back,
window.
go back to that
yeah,
outside,
those are,
right there. Oop.
yeah, those are just on that plywood, so that's gonna be glass now, so they
Well,
won't,
yeah, but there's other ones over here too,
I don't really,
Well,
see? Where it's under the S of shooters, those are all temporary signs up there.
oh, I think those will stay, because that tells us that our beer is $2. So, that's our
it's a
advertising, really.
paper. From the-
That pays for everything. Where the glass is going, we want that glass because there's a space inside there. It's used, it's kind of a private dining area.
Yeah.
So we want that to be glass. So that wouldn't have signs in it, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you keep with the temporary sign ordinance stuff, I think we're good.
Yeah,
And using up it, because a lot of them want to cover all those windows with signs. And it detracts from it.
I can pull out those signs, it doesn't matter, for the,
no, we'll just keep
Yeah.
like temporary.
You know what, if they change, the biggest problem is the ones that keep the same ones and they start tearing, they look bad. So it's all, and I know these are supplied by your distributors, and they got, some of them are, vinyl clad, nice sign material or whatever it is, and they're banners, but then they get to start once they start doing them and they get carried away and then they start putting them on the building more, their banners are a certain size, so then they start going over the brick, and it's just watch that.
Okay.
I mean, that's all. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think we should bring up the discussion on the hours of operation.
Right.
Okay, I know the applicant is asking from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. from May 1st to October 30th. I'm okay with the months. I'm not comfortable with the 2 a.m. I'd rather see it 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. I don't know how my other commissioners feel, so I'm looking for comments from my,
I think it's been a standard for the state for bars being open till 2 a.m.
I understand that.
Do
2
we
a.m.
have,
is outdoor?
oh, the outdoor thing
Outdoor.
only. Oh.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
outdoors. We're talking about the outdoor hours.
Yeah.
I mean, noise
Any
carries
other
at
input?
night. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Noise.
And that's the
conversation
biggest thing
carries at
is,
night.
and I'll tell you what, those people that live behind Fraser Hockey Land have been
They have expressed. concerns.
they've expressed, and they'll come here and come out in numbers if they all of a sudden see it. And that was the biggest problem with all these new ones, Total Soccer and all that. If they're confined inside the building and they don't affect them, then we don't have those issues. But as soon as you go outside, they talk about people that just sit outside and play the radio by their car, and they're all drinking outside and stuff like that. Well, what's different about this? It's the same thing, because you're going to pipe music probably out there.
I think first of all, our bar is open till 2 a.m. And secondly, though, we do control that space out there, so people aren't sitting in our parking lot playing music. They're in our bar or they're on our patio. So we aren't going to have music out there, and we're not.
You are or aren't? So no music will be piped out there. I think that we can make that a
No, we
stipulation.
That's what we talked about last time. didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, our bar is really, midnight to 2 a.m. is, traffic goes down a lot. We're in a high-intense area, so I don't think we're gonna bother anybody, you know? And I don't see us being jammed out there until 2 a.m., you know?
The only-
The bar really falls off after midnight.
We got a new one going across the street, it looks like, so and if they go with an outdoor patio and do stuff, I mean, you're gonna be fighting that too, and they've got a neighborhood right behind there. So I think we're gonna have to find a happy medium or whatever, that are we gonna have police patrolling this? We really don't wanna do that and be there like, oh, let's check the decibels on this. If it's over 70 and, or is the noise travel with wind, with that, whatever, and it goes into these neighborhoods. I'm just going to play devil's advocate now rather than later. So maybe you could offer something that works good, that when they come from the next one, we can keep in line with and say, they had to do this, so you should have to do this. Anybody have any input on that, or what, maybe suggestions?
I think 11 is a good number, because like he said, it goes down. The business goes down, it's down.
It's tough if there's a party and you got a full, I mean, this is adding to your occupant load. And what, you're gonna push everybody inside the building then at 11, and you got a party out there, and now the inside bar's got people all over that. I mean, you're hoping to pack this thing.
We're in an intense area, so we're not in an area that there's houses right around us. We got that big hockey stuff all behind us, and we're up against the buildings. We're not out.
Yeah, but it goes up and down. It's like noise travels differently. But hey, if you're not piping music out there, that's big.
We're not putting music out there, and but it would really be hard for us to, like you said, it'd be hard for us to. Yes, it'd be hard for us to really control. Say we stayed open till 11 or midnight. It's going to be hard for us to control bringing those people inside when we hopefully are full inside. That's why we have.
That's what I said.
We're
How do
pretty
we work
limited on seating. We only have, I forget what the seating number is, but it's not
On the outside, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not really talking about hundreds of people being out there. We're talking about, let me tell you.
We're not saying they're all boisterous either, those people are sitting at those tables.
I think
But you never know. Yeah, if you got $2 beer, they could be boisterous.
the noise is going to be the motorcycles leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the noise. We have seating out there. I don't,
Yeah, right there. at the
yeah, I
bottom.
forget, but
48.
48. Yeah, it's 48. So we're not really looking to have big parties out there. We're looking at having small, 48, which is a good-sized group, don't get me wrong.
Are there things, though, and I'm not an expert on it, but I know I see different things with sound deadening.
Yeah.
Is there a way to buffer noise?
No, I think there's several ways to buffer noise. Architecturally, we could
Right.
put some acoustical on the wall.
Panels or something.
We have that brick wall, so we
Yeah.
could put some acoustical there. The other thing that really absorbs noise is some greenery, so we could always put some, we have room now.
Yeah.
So we could put some, I'm going to call it evergreens there, that they absorb a lot of noise. So if we wanted to put a few evergreens around.
That makes a big difference. Those people really don't need to see it. They're outside, they're outside.
No, they're outside.
You don't have to, they don't have to see the parking lot.
I don't want to see it, yeah.
And if
Well,
that,
putting some
if that
evergreens would-
helps, I mean, we can make that a requirement. It's up to how does the board feel on that? If we extend the hours more and put up something like that, yeah.
If we put, go ahead. If we-
Emerald green arborvitaes or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we put 10 or 12 of those out there, they're going to absorb a lot of noise.
Yeah, I think
would.
so too.
I think that's a great idea. I think it's good. I think we need the hours only, I'm the architect, I'm not running the place.
You're right.
Only because it's going to be hard to manage.
Yeah, that's the only thing
Got
I
6
feel.
guys outside.
Who's going to patrol that? Who's going to go out there and, oh, we're closing,
Yeah.
you guys got to move in? Well, that's the toughest thing, because
That's right.
try doing that. It's tough enough probably getting people, some of them out at 2 o'clock. But,
But at 2 o'clock, we can close,
yeah,
with stops.
that's exact. So it's a little easier that way.
Right.
It's hard to do at 11 o'clock. I understand that.
It is.
I think if we can help reduce the noise but again, that's just me. We got a whole board here, and I need everybody's input and agreement or disagreement.
I think it'd be really hard to.
We have some room between the property there, so we could put a row of evergreens below.
Can you point out on there?
I can show you here. Yeah.
Take the microphone.
Mike,
I'll take my mic.
it's Cindy's mic there. Get that,
Yeah, you can take this one
get the
over here.
portable mic.
Okay, thank you.
No putting on a show different.
No, I gotta talk loud to
No
keep y'all
singing.
awake. Yeah, no singing. So, I would tell you that what we have now is we have some space here. So we got our bikes, pulling in here, but we could put some evergreens along here that would really start to absorb, they would absorb a lot of noise.
I like that.
And we have some rooms there. And we'd use some arborvitae, some evergreens, so they're green all year. And that would look good, and that would absorb the noise.
I think it add to the look out there in the atmosphere. So if
Yes.
we, that's my feeling again. I agree. Okay, I got one person agrees.
Well, I just think in a bar atmosphere that's open to 2 to tell people, okay, you can't be out here no more, you gotta come in, that's not gonna work.
I just don't see control with that. Tom's gonna be out there with a shotgun and say, you guys get in here. Anybody else?
I don't have a problem with them staying open until 2. It's a bar, that's a very congested area, loud.
I think we've achieved something by you offering to do that. Frank, you okay? Kath?
I'm only one person, that's okay.
All right,
The arborvitaes or whatever you put there would be very aesthetically pleasing, more pleasing.
that's the big thing too. I think
Besides buffering the noise, it's going to be more pleasing to see some greenery.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's why. I think we get 2 things. We get the noise, but also we get some aesthetics.
Yes.
and more protection for those people, in case you get some wild person in a car going by.
Yep.
But it's also to help the noise from those people outside. So it works both ways. I just think that'll be good. So we go back to hours.
I'm okay with what the applicant is suggesting.
Okay. So does anybody want to make a motion that includes hours, dressing up the arborvitae or whatever? Who wants to take a shot at it?
I wasn't here last month, so I don't know the whole story behind it.
Well, I think you got past, we got a new, this is a whole new drawing. This addressed all our issues. And
All the issues from last week are all addressed?
last time. So if you like this,
So I'm just approving for the outdoor.
yeah, that's all we're going is for the outdoor patio.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the outdoor patio at the 34360 Utica Road. Shooters.
SPR 2201.
Yep, that's, but let me finish, all right?
I know, I'm just trying to help
You do have bowling, too.
I know.
That's SRU 22-01 for the outside bar. The one stipulation is putting the greenery outside around it, and keeping the same hours as the bar.
Is that add-on?
I would,
Yeah, this is an add-on. I'm sorry.
No,
Page of the report.
Well, I was told that everything else is done.
The
That's what I was
applicant provide a
told.
shared access agreement.
Okay, wait a minute, so all
Property.
four, all three of these? And the applicant provides shared access agreement with the property at 34400 Utica Road to ensure that all parking on the site is accessible. Prior to final inspection of the patio construction, the applicant completes the restoration of the front, and you got the windows ordered, so they'll be there, okay? And the furniture planters and the other non-permanent elements of the patio operation are removed and stored during the off-season.
So we do have we have a time to add to that of day, of season too, so,
Yeah, our season is May 1st to October 30th.
First.
yeah, I'd make that part of it.
The off-season with May 1st to, you said October 31st, sir?
No, that is the season, the off-season is
Yeah.
rest.
See, you lied to me, Randy.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, the applicant proposes operation of the patio from May 1st to October 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m.
And I would, if I may add, that we delegate authority on the greenery and what is to Paul to approve. You know, if you make Paul happy with it, we'll be happy with it.
Yeah, and we just want it to stay alive, just because of previous experience.
Okay.
Are we talking about, can I ask, are we talking about permanent planters or are we talking about,
Planting in the ground.
over?
I think we'd plant them in the ground because we're really looking for something that's going to be sizable. So I think we'd cut out and plant them in, and make a planter.
Do we already have like some kind of planner thing that's going those posts?
Yeah, we do, but I think these
These will be, that'll take.
will be big.
Yeah, that'll help the sound thing. The rest is decoration.
Rex is decorated.
Yeah. Okay, I'll second that motion. And so we have motion by Commissioner Kyle, seconded by the chair. About a roll call.
Barr,
Yes.
Zarnicki,
Yes.
Farina,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Harry,
yes.
Warnock.
Yes. Congratulations, guys.
You gotta see this.
100%. So now you could
Mr.
get
Chair,
moving on that. Let's see the window get done. That's going to happen soon. Nice.
So we're probably going to do the window right away and the actual.
And hopefully you get that room filled with people.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have one question. Will those arborvitae or whatever they are, will those be irrigated or how do they stay water?
Yeah, who's going to, maintenance program, or you just going to irrigate them right away?
Because I think we're going to cut out the area and make a.
So it'll be a good time to do it. Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to die.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a
Good
good
night.
evening.
Okay. We are down to,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I need 5 minutes.
Okay, can we take a 5-minute break?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not a problem.
All right, I'm timing you. It's 9:39.
Seventh inning stretch, go ahead. Where's the music?
Okay, we are back. And it is 9:46. So we're going to continue with item number 2 of unfinished business. SP 21-08, 34400 Utica Road Outlot Development Site Plan Amendment. And we'll go to Mr. Urbio to give us a background.
I won't spend a lot of time introducing this case. We're all familiar with it. But as we discussed last month, the applicant submitted a revised site plan. We talked about their value engineering exercise and their desire to revise the site plan to bring the cost of the development down. The landscape plan, the new landscape plan that's proposed is up on the screen. As I had said last month, this plan is largely what was approved last time that you extended at the last meeting. Basically, in very brief terms, the development sort of is concentrated on the Big Boy parcel a little bit more than it was before. Specifically, what's different about this one is that the building size has been reduced from 6,255 square feet to 5,150 square feet, which has the added theoretical benefit of helping with the parking situation. The building is clad in different materials than originally proposed. Again, I think that was the product of the value engineering exercise. I think the materials that are proposed are still Big Boy, they're still commercial materials, they're still Big Boy brand standards, and I think, in my opinion, are acceptable. There was outdoor seating that was proposed in the area south of the building where those trees currently are, so that outdoor seating area has been eliminated and replaced with landscaping. The landscaping still meets the requirements of the ordinance for those parcels. That is accomplished by relocating some of the landscaping that was in the island to the south, for example. These were once landscaped islands. The quantity of trees has been relocated here and maybe some other places, but that is another difference, that is supposed to be a striped island instead of a landscape island. The concrete, we touched on this last month, but the concrete corrugated median located adjacent to the drive-through lane has been replaced with striping. The dumpster enclosure used to have shrubs around it. It now has these trees. It's still clad in masonry as is appropriate, and a little lawn enclosure there. And the lighting is proposed to be replaced on this parcel. So we reviewed this relative to those changes, relative to the previous approvals, the variances that have been granted, and we recommend that you approve this modified proposal subject to all the conditions that we've been talking about for some time. Mr. Andrews and the applicant have been in conversation about the parking agreements. I think the current status is that the finalized parking agreements are under the city attorney's review. And the applicant has, I think, applied for a building permit or has initiated that process for the foundations as we discussed last time. And with that, I'll answer any questions. Yes.
Paul, I called you about the parking and it not all being listed when you said about parking.
Are you talking about page 2 of our review?
Page 5, he's on.
Remember the phone call I gave you? Easements for cross shared, number 5 on page 5. Shared parking utilities, existing hockey land parcels, including north parking lot, as well as outlot lots per Ford. Blah, 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 these agreements for easements. It doesn't say anything about Myers in there or the school.
Down to 11.
Sorry, what
Number
page are we
11.
talking about?
Go down to 11.
Yep.
Total Stockard Lions Club, Myers, Fraser Schools must be reviewed. Okay, I'm sorry I missed that.
Okay.
They've called you about it.
Any other questions? Oh, I forgot to have you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Okay, the applicant's here.
Altaniaki Andreevas, attorney on behalf of the applicant, and also attorney for Big Boy as well. Mr. Jablonski unfortunately couldn't be here this evening, but I'll try to fumble through the construction lingo as best I can. He knows it much better than
It's
I
better
do.
we don't have to, now we don't have to talk by phone or whatever.
No,
Last.
and thank you. I apologize for not.
Oh, speaker, there you go.
I apologize for not being able to be here last time in person, but I appreciate the accommodation of being able to communicate via phone. It was a very big
It was your
accommodation.
vacation.
So, yeah, well, I was happy to do it, and I was happy that I was allowed to do it. So thank you very much for letting me do that. As Mr. Erbil has spoken about, we have made great progress on the property and on the project. We have revised the site plan, as Mr. Erbil has discussed, in order to accommodate for reduced square footage, which in theory would reduce the parking allocation requirement, but we have still maintained parking that's adequate for that, for this space. We have also obviously complied with landscaping design and plan that's required under ordinance. Since our last meeting in August, we have applied for the foundation permits, and foundations are actually being poured tomorrow. Building permits, the building plans were submitted early last month, and we're still waiting approval in order to get those building plans approved from the city. The assessor's office, we have been in constant talks with the assessor's office in order to get that split taken care of. It was submitted immediately. So I think we're in the last stages of that process as well. As Mr. Erbil has pointed out, Mr. Andrews and I are finalizing the last of the agreements so they can be circulated to third parties and have those signed off. So in essence, we're on track to get everything in place before hopefully frost hits. And then we can open and enjoy the property, hopefully for the whole community to enjoy as well.
Any questions for the petitioner?
I have two questions, which I just want to make sure clear in my head. It's just a Big Boy. There's no other retail. It's just one restaurant at this point. Okay.
Correct, yes, just a Big Boy. Well, it's more than a Big Boy, but it's a Big Boy.
I
Yes.
didn't mean it that way. And is my bicycle rack still on there? I didn't really.
Yes, ma'am, I believe it is.
Yeah, I saw it at the bottom.
Okay.
Or where is it there?
I think it was the previous.
It was.
version had a
There it
boy.
is, right there.
Yep.
We've reviewed this so many times, I lost track.
And it's
so-
changed, so
Yes.
that's understandable.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
On that, what you're talking about that, without seeing the inside, how's this one set up inside?
It's a bigger location. It's a little bit bigger than our standard footprint is. We've also accommodated a little bit extra in order to have more of a meeting space, because obviously we're in front of the Big Boy Arena. There are going to be teams that come through, and teams are usually larger than a table of 10. So we've made a little bit more of accommodation in order to be able to get, a table of 30 together, or if somebody wanted to do a birthday party, or if somebody wanted to do
Be a separate room or just,
that was the original plan, and I think part of the separate room was removed in order to not delineate it from the restaurant, but I think it's a little bit more modular now internally. It's not as much of a fixed booth system, so that way we can accommodate for a larger group, because there will be teams coming through there and people from out of town that will want to eat, at that location.
there's room for a buffet?
Yes, I believe there's room for a buffet.
And do the drive-through?
Yes.
I mean, it takes up a lot, I would think, so that's why I was curious just how big it
The
is.
drive-through is a separate operation, unfortunately. If you have that kind of a system, the quick serve is a different interior build for the equipment, because it's a different style of equipment than what a cook-to-order situation would be.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a different operation, but we're trying to accommodate everything into one building, which is a challenge, but
Be limited items at the drive-through, probably.
correct, yes. Yes, unfortunately, we have to be able to limit the menu in order to actually produce it.
Right. Okay, any other questions?
I do have a question. Will there be a fence up starting tomorrow? I went by there this
Construction
weekend.
fence?
Yes, I went by there this weekend, and there was just equipment. But I know that there's a tournament at Fraser Hockey Land coming up. Is there going to be a construction fence in place?
That I can't tell you. I haven't spoken with the builder. I spoke with my development person, and he told me that the foundations are being poured tomorrow. So I'm presuming once the foundations go in, they're probably going to want to put something up in order to avoid any damage to those foundations or those piers. So I'm presuming a fence should go in. I know that as part of the building process, a fence has to go in
Even
order to keep.
barriers of some type to keep, Because you're going to have that full, I know on that side between Shooters and there, they have access to those
Right.
Is there an access to that big parking lot on the north side? Through there, or is that blocked?
That I can't tell you.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't-
sorry. I
I
can't.
really didn't look for that. I was looking at least that they could still, people could still use the arena.
Right, and that we're obviously, we're invested in the arena as well, so
Right, so
we're not going to block off the
You're not gonna
traffic.
block what-
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think just safety things is what,
Right.
because
And
of-
I'm more than happy to go back and ask and make sure that happens, so it's not an issue. I mean, I'm presuming you're thinking of an orange, like corrugated plastic style fence.
Or a chain link fence. Sometimes you see multiple chain link fence sections around the,
oh, they did that up at the Slider place when they were working on
right,
that, too.
right. I was
Those
just-
were like 10-foot high fences. So that was probably to protect their stuff in there, too. I don't know.
Possibly.
I think as long as there's safety issues, that's the key here.
Okay.
So, should be good. Anything else?
Yes, Mr. Chair, whenever you're ready.
Go ahead.
On the planning consultant's report, page 3, Mr. Erble, you, item 3, you're addressing the landscape, you put it in bold, that we want to identify the southern frontage. Can you address that so I understand what's going on? Alternate 1?
Yes, there was a version of these plans that, and it might have been the version that you received, that had sort of a revision bubble around this and the and this island, and it was noted alternate 1. I didn't know what that was. I asked the applicant. Mr. Jablonski sent me this drawing and said this is what is being proposed. I was just concerned that the alternate 1 was some sort of like maybe or maybe not.
Okay.
And what I had expressed was that the review is based on this drawing.
This one, this one.
But they did confirm that this is the drawing.
This is it. Okay. Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I apologize. That conversation happens subsequent to your packets.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, anything else? Oh, nobody wants to make a motion because then they got to read page 5.
Can't you just say motion to bring up page 5?
Yeah.
All right, I move to approve the site plan SPR 21-08 at 34,400 Utica Road, outlot contingent with all of the requirements listed in the planner's summary on page 5.
Is that good?
And
Oh, go ahead.
that the parking lot, before any occupancy permit is allowed, the parking lot must be, the completion of the resurfacing of the parking lot must be done. Okay? Because I don't think he's going to do it. I don't have a lot of faith. And that parking lot needs it badly.
You do know it was done already.
No.
The one on the north side is
The
done.
north side is done.
In the back.
I'm talking about the rest of the parking lot. That was also a stipulation.
I think
of
it
that
has to be done because it's all tore up. They
Over,
tore it.
over there, but there's other portions, if, when you
Okay.
draw through it there, that it's, goes like this with big water holes.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna, that's up to, can you tell us if there's a plan already for that?
For the parking lot to be redone? Yeah, I believe it
Rest of it.
it is in
its
plan.
entirety.
I believe it's actually in a condition on page 5 that the parking lots be resurfaced.
Yes, I put it in there.
Correct. So I think we're double dipping. I think we have it
Yeah, if it's already in here,
Number 10.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's covered. So you can stick with your
Okay.
recommendation.
I'll
Is
second
it-
it,
You have a
if he's
second?
ready.
Are you done then? Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Farina, seconded by Commissioner Perry. Clark, are you okay with that? Just denoting like page 5 as the,
Particularly since there's such a long list of conditions.
so as long as, do we have to say page 5 of the site plan
Planners.
review summary?
Maybe we should
Copy and
put a
paste
date
it
on it.
And
Yep.
put it in there.
That might be good, well,
If that-
since you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I had planned on just copying, I
Yep.
asked him if I could have that in Word.
Yeah,
They'll all be in there just like he
so
wrote.
it'll be exactly as it
Yep.
is right here
Yep.
now. Okay? All right, let's do a roll call on that.
Barr,
Yes?
Zarnicki,
Yes.
Farina,
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yes.
I'm like, what? Kyle,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Harry,
Yep.
Warnick.
Yes. All right, so that passes, and we have a,
Don't darken our doorstep if we can.
we love
Not
having
going to
you,
miss seeing me, come on.
but make it for something else next time.
I prefer to work on a different project, let's be honest.
Thanks for waiting all night for this.
Okay. Are we done?
All right, so we're down to number 3 of unfinished business, sub 01-19, Garfield Park sub parcels 1 through 10, site plan amendment. Okay, where are we going with this, Mr. Herbiel?
Well, so, again, this is something that we've talked about several times before. The last time in March of this year, the commission postponed this matter, which was an application to leave the site as it is currently constructed, which means one less house than was approved. It was postponed until this meeting to allow the applicant, it seemed at the time, he represented that it seemed hopeful that the lots were going to be combined, which, as we've discussed a couple times, the lot is not buildable as in its current configuration. If it was combined with the adjacent property, there would be no issue. The city, I think, and then the origin of this issue was before my time here, but what I understand is that the city was trying to avoid a maintenance issue with that lot if the house was not permitted. And also, just essentially, the lot is, there was something promised back when that didn't get built. So the city was trying to avoid that, an abandoned lot, and a solution to that would be combining the lot, and also to, I guess, just to not have a parcel that's not buildable without further investment. The lots have not been combined, but the maintenance issue, I think from our perspective, has been addressed just because the lot is in different hands. It belongs to the adjacent owner who, at least for the time being, has maintained it sufficiently. So I think Mr. Andrews can elaborate. Do you just want to explain your suggestion? Go ahead.
We discussed at the office what options the city might have in terms of further addressing this issue. And as Paul has indicated, one of the prime concerns of the city was that if that was a vacant lot that was not landscaped and not taken care of, that what would happen then would be that the city would do a nuisance abatement, and then the property owner, it would be put on the tax roll, and if the people didn't pay for it because they didn't care about it, then the city would become the owner of it, and then have a continuous obligation of maintenance with respect to that. One of the solutions that was proposed to Mr. Mancini was to try to convey that property or sell it to the adjacent property owner, who then would hopefully combine it with his own property, and that would solve the problem long-term. It was represented to us at a prior meeting that owner was apt to be cooperative about that. And in fact, the conveyance of that property to Mr. Marino did in fact take place and was in fact recorded. He originally indicated, or at least it was represented by Mr. Mancini, that the fellow said that he didn't want to take care of the combination in the early spring because he was very busy at work, and he intended to build, I think, a shed in the spring, and that would require that he combine the lots, because the city ordinances do not allow a separate accessory building to be built unless there's a principal structure like a house on the property. Unfortunately, I guess the guy changed his mind about whether he was going to build the shed, and I think at least it's been represented to us that the fellow basically said, "Quit bothering me about this. I'm taking care of the property. I intend to continue to take care of the property, but I don't want to combine it." My suggestion that I wanted to talk briefly with you guys tonight, and then maybe take action on it a month from now, would be to record a notice of that being a non-buildable parcel, so that somebody who potentially might want to come along and build on that parcel, would know before he closed that that property is not buildable as it is now, and that it would if somebody was going to build on it, they'd have to extend the street and extend the public utilities. And the city would agree that they would remove that notice against that property if they combined the lots. And I also put in that draft notice that somebody would have to understand that they couldn't put any accessory buildings on that vacant lot unless those were combined. And Don Denault suggested it, and I think it's a good suggestion, that if the planning commission is of a mind that that would be beneficial, which I think it would be, that we would let the current owner of that property, Mr. Marino, know that that was what the city's plans were, and that we were going to discuss it at the next meeting, and that he could have his 2 cents worth. I think truthfully, all it is truth in advertising. I mean, we just don't want to have some prospective owner coming along and say, "I had no idea that that lot was not buildable." And I think in the sense of fair disclosure, it makes sense to do that. So I distributed tonight the document that I would like to consider the city using, and have the city manager sign on behalf of the city. But I would like to have the planning commission take formal action on that next month, so that we have an opportunity to give Marino an opportunity to come and say, if he has any comments about it. And you can eliminate the whole problem by combining it, so.
Now, you do know he has a violation there right now. He's got a shed there.
Yeah.
And I think code enforcement needs to write him up a violation, because that might make him want to combine them than to keep that. But he put it up.
He did put it up.
There is one there
Okay.
today.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and.
Shed, play structure, and a
Yep.
trampoline.
It's a Rubbermaid one, but a big one. It's not your little thing. It
Well, then I
needs,
think we ought
per
to,
city code, it needs a rat wall and everything. It's it's a structure and it can't be in there without dwelling on that property, or he combines them.
I'm glad you advised me of that.
And I've talked to Mr. Mancini, and he said he's been trying. The guy finally told him, leave me alone. I'm not going to combine them. That's all there is to it. So he backed off, but this structure's there. That, now, if it's enforced, he will have to combine them if he wants to keep it or get rid of it.
Did he do that without permits?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I don't think our building department would give a permit on a lot
Unbuildable
without.
lot.
Yeah, and without a house there already. So.
Thank you for advising me that.
Yeah, so if they can be followed up with code enforcement and the building department and get that resolved, it might be the thing that makes them combine them. I'll tell you what, he's taking care of the site. It really looks good.
Yeah, I understand that, and that was certainly one of the major concerns
That he wouldn't
city had,
maintain
was
it.
that we didn't want to have an eyesore there.
Yeah, I think it really looks good. It looks like it belongs to that house, the way he set it up, and the trampoline probably, it helps it a little for that. But it's still, the way the shrubbery is along the front, I think it's dressed nice, and it's what we want, I think, as a finished product, except for the shed. So I think if it was combined, we wouldn't have any problem. He could put the shed, if he meets the setbacks for that. But right now, it definitely doesn't meet it, so.
Clerk, you have, the vacant park is not served by public utilities, and you have only sanitary and public water main. Shouldn't power be on there also?
I don't think so, because I think that
Because you could drop a power line over there, and if it's,
I understand that, but I'm looking at from the standpoint of the city ordinance requirements, and they're, obviously, to build a house there, you could need that power, but that's not as a result of the zoning ordinance or a city requirement. It's a requirement from other places.
But this will make it officially unbuildable,
Right.
and that's what we want. You may have ran some. Well, it's also the same thing. It also addresses all these other things, the play structures, pools. So anything, really, he has to leave it pretty much vacant if he doesn't combine them. So I think we'll see something if we use enforcement on what he does have, and then the alternative, and then this being part of it. I mean, he's got to be part of this and see this, right?
I think that, usually things involving site plans are not public hearings and so forth, so typically we wouldn't give notice, but in this instance, given the fact that this property has changed hands, and it was kind of at the urging of the planning commission that that Mr. Mancini pursue that option. I feel if we're going to discuss potentially putting a document against this guy's property, that it's only reasonable and fair that he have notice of that intention. And he might very well come to the meeting and say, I don't want this against my property, I'm going to combine it, and that's the end of the story, So, and particularly if he gets a code violation at the same time for maintaining a structure on a accessory parcel without there being a principal dwelling there. So
I think we're in a good
I'll talk to Don. I'm not usually involved in the prosecution of things like code enforcement, but Don is, and I'll make him aware of what this discussion is. I apologize for my voice. I was on some steroids I was in the hospital for 6 days or 5 days a week and a half ago, and
You okay now?
Yeah, I'm good, but
Just don't talk as much, right?
my voice is not very good. It's coming back, but
that's why you brought the kid.
Yeah. How does an attorney make money not talking?
If you can't talk,
You're right.
very hard.
Okay, so I like where this is heading now. It kind of makes sense, and it looks like we're going to put this in a position that we get what we want.
It's not a perfect solution, but it's 90% of
It
the.
really helps the whole thing. I just
We don't
think-
have to spend so much time on it no more.
Yeah, I'll keep coming back to
It's
it.
been going on for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, really, it's been going on for
Well,
20 years, probably. Okay, so I think we're all set with this one? No motions required, or,
I think that if we're going to do any motions, we'll do it next month.
yeah. So let's postpone,
An opportunity.
let's officially postpone this then?
Yeah, you could do that. That's a good idea.
Anybody want to make that motion?
Move to postpone.
October 4th.
Do it.
Or 5th, I mean, October 5th.
SPR 2108, sub 01-19 Garfield Park, sub parcels 1 through 10, site plan amendment. Actions until our next meeting.
I support.
Okay, we have motion and support. I think we can do that just verbally. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? No? Okay. So, that motion carries. Go on to number 8, public communications on non-agenda items. Any public wishes to be heard? Yeah, she's calling.
he's already packed
Let's
the
get
bag,
this
ready to
over
go.
with. All right, zoning board of appeals, member liaison report.
There hasn't been a meeting for the last 3 months. It looks like there's going to be a meeting coming up.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll give you a report then, but there has been no meetings of.
So forthcoming. Commissioners' comments and items of interest or concerns. Let's just go around from this way. We'll start with Ken this time.
Closing statement?
Anything to be?
Nothing today. My longest meeting, probably.
Commissioner Barr,
I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Farina.
How do we stand on my favorite Taco Bell? Hey, Quieto, Taco Bell.
They are done. They're done. They put in new ones.
They put arbs in.
Yeah, they put
I
arborvitae.
didn't see it.
Yeah, it looks good. It's got to grow,
Yeah,
but,
they're pretty tall. They're not bad.
yeah, they're better than.
Bigger than they were.
They're probably 4 foot or.
They were planted at 6 feet, I think, is what.
Are they 6? Yeah, they look.
It
it'll
doesn't
grow.
come very far forward.
No, it doesn't come
But
as far as I was thinking it should, but let's see how it goes once it grows. I mean, did you see it and approve it, or?
So I asked the applicant for a solution that was not run over. They went ahead and planted them and said, we think it's better. I went out there, it is better because I think it more immediately,
I think it'll cover the cars coming at an angle. It's not going to be the ones coming straight toward Utica, which is okay. I think as long as you don't blind the people that are coming in that driveway. Let's see as they grow.
when the drawing I did approve with the shrubs that were originally planted, they pushed back on the idea because I was asking them to bring it all the way to the
Yeah.
Yes.
front of the building. And they pointed to the minutes and to the discussion in the meeting that the discussion was about the perpendicular cars, not the parallel cars. So I think, I mean, if it's causing a nuisance, then there's
We're
grounds.
still
to go
gonna,
back
yeah.
and-
I mean, I wouldn't close it out for good. I mean, we just keep looking at it. And that's all. We don't have to make a motion for anything like that, so.
What's there, I honestly think it's better, it's not,
Yeah.
as much as maybe should be there, but it's.
Those were so dead. The other ones they weren't doing a thing.
They said that there was a malfunction in the irrigation, there was something wrong with the irrigation that's now been fixed, so we'll see.
All right, we'll see as we go. Oh, yeah, well, we do it after, stamping the plant.
Oh.
So, and then you call me in and I just come in and sign them.
You need packages to do that with.
Oh, do you need extra packages? We'll give them to you.
No, we keep a copy for that.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Zarnecki, let's go start
I
from
have
there.
none, thank you.
You thought I was going to go to Con. Commissioner Blair.
No, I don't have anything this evening. I'll ask another day when it's shorter.
Yeah, I'm good.
Commissioner Kyle, you're good. And I am good too, so,
I move to adjourn.
I second.
okay, we have motion. All in favor? Aye. All right. Adjourned at 10:20, well, let's do it officially here, 10:21.
By the way, you,
They're not usually this
you owe
long.
Kyle $20. You owe
I
me
was fine until we took a
We
break.
owe you 20 bucks for?
No, I didn't
He owes
bet.
you,
No,
and he owes me.
I didn't say that.
What?
You guys were supposed to,
I don't know.
there was no way to do it.
When you
I don't
fail,
No